Okay. Okay. All right, Miss Lewis, can you see and hear me?
I can see you very well, Judge. How are you?
All right, thank you. Good
Can you
afternoon.
hear me good?
Very well, thank you.
I put the reset date. It's July the 18th.
All right, got it. Thank you.
Did you get the add-on calendar?
Yes, I did. 3 more, right?
Okay, yes.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we have Miss McLeod, and who do we have for our ASGs and other PDs? Let's see.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Right,
Good
everyone. Good
afternoon.
afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, hello.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, welcome. This is the team who drew the short straw for today, and so we get to do this. All right.
I'm missing a couple of things, aren't we?
As soon as
Well,
the
I have- I
courtroom
thought Mr.
two,
Cook-
or we have. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin our misdemeanor calendar for individuals who are recently arrested. If you are a victim or a witness or a family member here, please mute your Zoom panel and keep your video on off until the defendant whom you're interested in addressing appears. Do you think courtroom two is ready yet, or is still holding? Okay. While we're waiting for courtroom two or ACDC or any other jail location to come on board, Miss McLeod, who are your clients on this calendar today?
Your Honor, my client is Mr. Sean Shields.
Okay. Anyone else?
No, I only have Mr. Shields.
Okay, and that would be I think position 23. Okay. And courtroom one, good afternoon. Who do you have?
Position number 15, this is the interpreter case.
Miss Lewis, do we have an interpreter on Zoom?
That's
at
a
the
good
present time?
question.
All right.
I got to find out for you because I didn't see an email come through for an interpreter.
Okay, so courtroom one, we're going to hold for an interpreter to appear. All right. Miss Atay, do
Yes.
you have any waivers or breakout cases that you need to address?
Well, I had one breakout. I requested the interpreter. I sent that request to Michael Jordan. Breakout, I hope there's going to be an add-on for one that I wanted a breakout for, but Miss Williams has stated that his case is linked to a Superior Court case and it can't be unlinked, but I do believe that he needs a first appearance today.
Who is that? Is that person on the calendar?
No, Your Honor, he's not because I can't file it down. However, everything's ready. I just need someone to unlink the Superior Court case number so I can file it down. His name is
Okay.
Brendan something, starts with an M.
Okay. All right, Miss Atay, we'll address that as soon as the prosecutor lets me know whether the case is accused, but we'll take that at the tail end of the calendar. All right, again, if you are a victim, a family member, or a witness here to support a defendant, make sure that your video is off and that you are on mute. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I do have one that's on the calendar that I'm going to request a breakout for position 18, Oday.
Okay, 18 for a breakout. All right. All right.
This
Courtroom, yes, courtroom two, go ahead. Are you all ready?
it's a few people that's not on the calendar. Now,
Okay. Let me address the bulk of the cases that are right now in courtroom two. We are waiting on an interpreter to address the case in courtroom one. So let's begin. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Lal, and this is going to be the expedited accusation calendar with the State Court of Fulton County. We are addressing a rather lengthy calendar this afternoon for July 5th, 2024. These are cases in which individuals were recently arrested and booked at the Fulton County Jail. Most of these cases have arrest warrants attached to them. If you are a defendant recently booked, your cases have already been formally accused by the prosecutor, who is the Solicitor General of Fulton County. And this would be your first appearance before a judicial officer. Please remember that when I am addressing your case, you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say in open court or during this virtual proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you in the prosecution of your case. This entire proceeding is not only being recorded, but also live streamed. So I highly recommend that you exercise your right to remain silent. Again, the lady lying down in the bed on iPhone, please put her in a breakout room. Ms. Lewis, please put her in a breakout room and we'll address her shortly. Thank
I'll
you.
put her in the waiting room, Judge. I'm
In the
sorry.
waiting room.
Keep
excuse
taking
me,
her
waiting room.
video down. She keeps putting it back up.
All right, put her in the waiting room. Thank you. As I was saying, for the defendants, please remember to exercise your right to remain silent. Your other right is the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. You may be appointed with counsel from either the public defender's office, or we may appoint an attorney from our conflict defense list. Today, when I call your case, I will let you know what is your new accusation number, what are the charges brought against you, who is your attorney if appointed counsel is required, and also to set a bond. For some of you, you may receive what we call a signature bond or a unsecured judicial release bond. In those cases, you won't have to pay for your bond today, but you will have to comply with certain conditions. Failure to comply, including getting arrested again, can result in your signature bond being revoked and converted to either a cash bond or a surety bond. For the others who do not qualify for a signature bond, you will receive either a surety bond or a cash bond. And in those cases, you would have to pay for your bond out of your own pocket or through a bonding company in order to secure your release. In those cases, conditions may also attach. Those of you who receive a surety bond or a cash bond, or who otherwise will not be released, today you will get a new court date of July 18th, 2024 at 9 a.m. That is also a virtual proceeding, and you will receive a link for the next court date at that time. Okay, courtroom 2 and Mr. Cook, good afternoon. Who are we addressing first?
Brianna, I had a few questions before we could start.
Go ahead.
It's about 5 defendants that's not on the calendar.
No.
What are their names?
Kyle Lekorski, Thomas Porter, Johnny Given, Brendan Masuskini, and Cameron Austin. Cameron Austin it says he's supposed to be on SAP, but he hasn't had a first appearance. So that's one that probably got mixed up.
Okay, if you can obtain either their names or just their booking number, their jail numbers, and put that in the chat to Miss Katrina Lewis, she will email that information to Miss Desiano, Miss Miracle Williams, and to me, so that we can pull up these cases and find out the status. But I cannot address them until the tail end of the calendar.
And Judge, I'm gonna be multitasking, so they're gonna have to email it directly to the ASG if they can, because I'm multitasking today. And
All
I'm
right.
not gonna be able to be looking
We
and
just
searching.
need their booking number so that I can pull the cases up and address them, but only at the tail end.
Okay.
Yes,
I
because the
won't,
name she's listed, they're not on the pool sheet.
they're on the push sheet, but they're not on the calendar. But I won't be.
There's some that did
Understood.
take on.
No, folks, listen, I'm just addressing the deputy in courtroom 2 right now. Please, if you could do that, either put it in a chat to Miss Desiano. And Miss Desiano, once you get that information, please email it to everyone concerned, including me, so that I can pull up the cases.
Yes, Judge.
All right? Okay, again, final announcement for those who are appearing via Zoom. If you are a victim, a witness, a family member, or friend in support of a defendant, Please keep your video on off and your audio on mute until you see or hear the defendant who's being addressed. Okay, courtroom 2. Who should we address first?
We can start with position number 3, Miss Amber Clemens.
This is State versus Amber Clemens, accused of driving under the influence of alcohol, operating a vehicle on the wrong way on a one-way street on Spring Street, and driving under the influence of alcohol per se from July 5th, 2024. Ms. Clemens, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Any priors, please? Ms. Bostic?
In regards to Ms. Clemens, only arrest and conviction was out of Michigan for operating on or committing vehicle.
I'm sorry, Ms. Bostic, you went in and out. Could you repeat that? She's got a prior traffic case?
Yes, violation in 2020 out of Michigan, nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Williams, yes. What's the state's recommendation?
Recommendation is a $2,000 good bond on the DUI and a $500 signature bond through pretrial on the wrong way, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And that is with regard to driving on the wrong side on Spring Street and 10th Street. She completed field sobriety testing and then also agreed to the Intox 9000 where she was found to be over the 0.08 limit.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cook?
Right, to try to keep the she is working, but her income is fairly modest. We would like to try to keep the surety bond a little lower, perhaps around 1,500. She is she's 23 years old. She is from Warren, Michigan. That's where she lives now. She was visiting Atlanta. She's a certified nurse assistant. She's been doing that about 3 years. And was a high school graduate and gotten her healthcare credentials as well. She has 2 children, one 3-year-old girl and one 1-year-old girl for whom she is responsible. So again, we would like to try to keep that as low as possible.
All right, thank you. On count 1, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, that's going to be a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. On count 2, driving on the wrong way on a one-way street, that's a $500 signature bond through the jail. On the DUI per se, that's a $1,000 surety bond. So her total bond is a $2,500 split bond. No driving unless she has a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration, no consumption of any illegal drugs, and no consumption of any alcohol beverages. Her next court date, if she's not able to make bond, is July 18th. And she needs to maintain a current mailing address with the court. Please understand that after 45 days, such cases, licenses are suspended under the laws of the state of Georgia. So she may want to retain counsel in Maryland to find out if there's a reciprocal effect with a Michigan driver's license. Thank you.
What was the bond amount on the first charge?
Count 1 is a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Count 2 is a $500 signature bond through the jail. And count 3 is a surety bond, $1,000. Next case, please.
Position number 24, Miss Brianna Smith.
This is State versus Brianna Smith, accused of theft by taking from March 3rd, 2024, under accusation 24 CR 4408E. Ms. Smith, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
19 cycles FTA in 2019, theft by shoplifting in 2019, appears to have an open theft by shoplifting, 3 counts in Rockdale, open case for theft by shoplifting in Rockdale, on probation in DeKalb for ag assault, firearm, sentence in 22 for 7 years. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Kim, excuse me, Ms. Desiano? Yes.
Your Honor, the state is recommending in this case, given the defendant's criminal history, $1,000 good bond, no further contact with the victim, Evelyn Williams, stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And that recommendation is based on the defendant stealing the victim's purse, which had $400 cash, her driver's license, and a cell phone. And if we could sound for Miss Williams.
Ms. Evelyn Williams? Miss Strong, while you're monitoring the Zoom, could you find out from the lady in the waiting room also what's her name? Thank you. Oh, is that Evelyn Williams? Miss Williams, did you want to add to the proceedings?
Yeah, oh, I just found out that she had the case today, but
All right, please raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
yes,
Okay, have you received your purse back?
no.
All right, that's all I need to know. Thank you. You may mute your screen, please. Miss Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 28 years old, and she was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor. She's currently 37 weeks pregnant right now, and she does not want to have a baby here at the jail. We would like to request for a signature on bond through a pretrial or jail. And Your Honor, Your Honor, she is currently experiencing severe financial hardships. She is going through homelessness, and
Yes, we're in hearings. Let me call.
she has no job ever since she's been pregnant, expecting a baby soon. And however, she graduated from college at Georgia State University, 2024, with a Bachelor of Degree for Criminal Justice. And we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial. We have no objection to stay away and no further contact.
Okay, the bond is going to be set at 5,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services level 3. She's to report to pretrial once a week. If she gets arrested again, make sure she brings $5,000 with her when she comes back to jail. We need a current mailing address, email, and/or phone number. As a college graduate, I'm sure she knows how to get that information. Failure to do so will result in a revocation of her bond. No further contact with Evelyn Williams. And if she is otherwise in the hospital, she needs to make sure that she contacts the public defender's office immediately to let pretrial know that when she'll be able to resume her reporting. Her next court date will be sent to her current email, her current address, whichever way she wants to get contact. But failure to appear in court will result in a $5,000 cash bond for a bench warrant. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll see you later.
Next case, please. All right, courtroom 2, do we have another case?
Hold on, Your Honor. We could go to position number 4, Mr. Desimo.
Tony Desimo, okay. Tony Desimo is accused of criminal trespass from July 3rd, 2024 under accusation 24 CR 4396H. Mr. Desimo, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook. All right, any priors, Ms. Bostic?
5 cycles in Florida, an old trespass, 7 cycles in Maryland, all dismissed, 2 in Georgia, last arrest 2018.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes, Ms. Williams?
on this case, the state recommends a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, a stay away from the incident location of 1749 Morris Avenue in East Point, Georgia. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And that recommendation is based upon the fact that he was previously trespassed from that location back in February of this year.
All right. Mr. Cook, the bond is going to be set at $1,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. Does your client have a valid mailing address or residential address? I'm sorry, you need to unmute courtroom 2.
Go ahead, go.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. He'll need to make sure that he gives us his current mailing address. He needs to report to pretrial once a month, to stay 200 yards away from 1749, I think it's Morris Avenue in East Point, and have no contact with Sheena Aramus, Aremus. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, we can go to position 21.
You said 21?
Lucius Lakestrom?
My mistake, we go to position number 5,
Fine, okay.
Evans.
Felton Evans? This is State versus Felton Lamar Evans, accused of criminal trespass at a Chevron station on July 4th, 2024, case number 24CR4400G. Mr. Evans, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Cook. Yes, Ms. Bostic, I do see that he has 2 open cases. Anything else, any convictions for criminal trespass?
Yes, in 2019, he has 3 FTAs on his booking, and you said an open case for criminal trespass 23CR00578G, and criminal damage, death by taking, criminal trespass, Schedule 1 FTA in 2019.
Thank you. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation on this case is a $2,000 good bond, a stay away from the Chevron located at 1990 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And this recommendation is based upon his July 4th appearance at the same gas station that he has been previously criminally trespassed for on 4 different cases, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cook, anything to add?
Your Honor, I think I heard a previous conviction perhaps on criminal trespass. I'm not, so we would like to keep, given his circumstances, very modest income, less than $800 a month. He's, we would like to keep the surety bond as low as possible. So we would hope to get it somewhere in the 1,000 range.
All right. He's got 2 FTAs right now, so we're going to set the bond at $1,000 surety. Next court date is July 18th. He's to stay 500 yards away from the Chevron gas station at 1990 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway in Atlanta. And Ms. Lewis or Ms. Strong, we're going to reset this case to July 18th, along with his 2 other open cases, and they're listed on the calendar. 23 CR 5785G and 20 CR 322G. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have position 19, Ms. Owens.
This is State versus Tarnisha Lawanda Owens, who's a cross defendant along with position number 23. Ms. Owens is accused of battery, family violence from July 3rd, 2024. Courtroom 2, do you have Sean Shields in the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that would be Ms. McLeod's client. If you could please appear. All right, then we have State versus Sean Shields, accused of simple assault, family violence with cross-defendant Tarnisha Owens. And Mr. Owens, you've also been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. McLeod. Your case number is 24 CR 4399Y. Ms. Owens' attorney is going to be, who is Ms. Owens' attorney?
Hoda.
Is it Ms. Kim or Mr. Cook?
That's Hoda's client.
Oh, Ms. Oday? Okay. All right. Ms. Bostic, may I have Ms. Tarnisha Owens priors?
Judge, felony was in not felony, misdemeanor was in 03 criminal delinquents. Only misdemeanor is really old
All
of
right.
violence.
And what about Mr. Shields?
2 arrests in Florida, 29 here. No violence. 1 FTA in 2014, history of probation violation. Last arrest was 2018.
All right, thank you. Ms. Desiano, what's the recommendation for Ms. Owens?
Your Honor, the recommendation for both cases is going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. I will defer to the court regarding contact and stay away, taking complete family violence intervention, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond.
Thank you. Ms. Oday, who currently owns, leases, or rents from Mobley Drive? Ms. Oday, Hoda Oday? All right, Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, the property belongs to my client.
All right, Mr. Shields, all right. And all right, that would be good. Ms. Hoda Oday? Yes, Ms. Oday.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have the residency information for your client?
Yes, Your Honor, my client has lived for, even according to the warrant, for over 3 years at the 20 Mobley Drive address. And she doesn't have anywhere else to live. She's been living there for 3 years. I'm sorry, I was interviewing another client, so I
No
didn't.
problem.
I didn't wonder if the complaining witness, the cross defendant, wanted contact or not.
He's okay with no further violent contact.
And my
All right.
client feels the same way, Your Honor.
All right. The bond is going to be set at $2,000, signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. No further violent contact with the cross defendant. And both are going to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program, and they will enroll within 30 days of being released. They can take the classes together or they can take the classes separately. It's entirely up to them. But both of it is $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 1, no further violent contact, and enroll in DBIP within 30 days. Both need to make sure that they show back up to court when summoned by the division judge. All right, thank you. Ms. Chauncey, thank you so much for appearing. Who represents courtroom 1, position 15?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Oday, we're going to place you in a breakout.
Oh,
with
Your Honor, I interviewed him, but we missed for the translation.
All right. Courtroom 1, if you could unmute, please.
Your Honor, my business before the court is concluded. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good weekday. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Chauncey, if you please raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear and affirm the information you translate will be a true and accurate interpretation with no changes and embellishments?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Lewis, you or Ms. Strong, please stop the video for Galaxy J2. Thank you. All right. Position number 15. I'm sorry, Ms. Chauncey, give me a moment. All right.
Yes.
The defendant's name is Umberto Marcelino Aparicio. It's MARCELINO dash APARICIO. So I may have butchered the pronunciation. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's fine.
Okay, so this is State versus Umberto Marcelino, accused of battery, family violence.
Este es la fiscalía en contra de Umberto Marcelino Aparicio por golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar.
His case number is 24 CR 4392F, and the incident date is July 2nd, 2024.
El número de casos es 24 CR 4392F y el día del incidente es 2 de julio del 2024.
He has a right to remain silent. Anything he says in open court, his statements can and will be used against him.
Él tiene el derecho a guardar silencio, todo lo que diga puede y va a usarse en su contra.
And he has a right to an attorney. Representing him is Ms. Oday.
Él tiene derecho a tener representación de abogado y su abogada es la señorita Oday.
Is there a Teodora Albina on Zoom at the present time? She will need to unmute and start her video.
Está la señora Teodora Elvina presente en la plataforma de Zoom. Si está presente, va a tener que prender su cámara. Teodora Elvina.
Thank you. Courtroom 2, could you please place your screen on mute? And courtroom 1, yeah. All right. Okay, Ms. Bostic, any priors on Mr. Umberto?
Hay antecedentes en el señor Alberto.
Just a driver with a suspended license in 2012.
Solo en el 2012 por manejar con una licencia suspendida.
Ms. Daciano, what's the recommendation?
¿Cuál es la recomendación de la Fiscalía?
The state's recommending a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with the victim, Miss Albina Teodoro, a stay away from the incident location, taking complete family violence intervention program, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond.
La Fiscalía recomienda una fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio, no tener más contacto con Teodora Elvina, mantenerse alejado del domicilio del incidente, también tomar un curso de intervención en la violencia familiar y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
And Your Honor, that is based on the defendant's alleged to have slapped his wife across the face, leaving a red mark and swelling.
Esto se debe a el alegato de que el acusado le pegó una cachetada en la cara a la señora, dejando inflamación y una marca rojiza.
And Your Honor, if you could sound for the victim, Miss Albina Teodoro.
Si podemos llamar a la señora Elvina Teodora. Señora Elvina Teodoro, está presente en la plataforma de Zoom. Si me escucha, prenda su cámara y avísenos.
Ms. Oday, do you have any comment about the stay away and the no contact?
Yes, Your Honor. I did speak with the complaining witness, Miss Albina, and she stated that she would get on the Zoom call and that she does want contact with him. Oh, I think that's her.
¿Puede explicar por qué pide que no tenga más contacto con la testigo? Sí, su señoría. Yo hablé con la testigo, quien declaró que no quiere tener más contacto con este acusado.
Miss Theodora Molina, if you'd like to address the court, please unmute your video.
Señora Teodora Molina, si quiere hablarme a mí, la jueza, por favor, prenda su video, su cámara. El micrófono. Prenda su micrófono.
Is there a teenager in the room that can help her?
¿Hay algún adolescente que esté en la habitación que la pueda ayudar a prender el micrófono?
I'm sorry, Judge. I'm one of Umberto's
Okay,
nephews.
good.
Oh, there
Thank
you
you. All right. Mr. Lewis, please be quiet. All right, go ahead and ask her what's her name, please.
¿Cuál es su nombre, señora?
Albina Teodoro Luna.
Albina Teodoro Luna.
All right. Miss Luna, please raise your right hand.
Por favor, levante su mano derecha.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
¿Usted jura o afirma que la declaración que dará será la verdad a lo mejor que usted pueda?
Sí.
Are you comfortable with Umberto being back home with you?
¿Se siente cómoda con que el señor Umberto regrese al hogar con usted?
Sí.
Yes.
You may put your hand down, Miss.
Puede bajar su mano, señora.
All right. And are you comfortable that this won't occur in any violence between the two of you?
¿Y usted se siente cómoda o confiada que no va a ocurrir ningún evento de violencia entre ustedes dos?
Exactamente.
Exactly.
Bond is set at $2,500 signature bond through pretrial services level 1. He must report to pretrial once a month.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. May you repeat the amount?
Sure. $2,500 signature bond through pretrial services level 1.
La fianza es de $2,500 bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1.
He must have no further violent contact with the victim.
Queda prohibido el contacto violento con la víctima.
If there is any physical or verbal altercation with Miss Teodora, he may be arrested and brought back to jail.
Si ocurre algún encuentro violento, físico u oral, será arrestado, se lo traerá de nuevo a la cárcel si agrede a la señora Teodora Elvina.
He's not allowed to consume any illegal drugs and no alcohol consumption.
Él no le prohíbe usar drogas ilegales y consumir alcohol.
No.
He is to be subject to random screens for alcohol and illegal drugs by pretrial services.
Y también él debe someterse a registros por parte del servicio previo al juicio para registros de asegurarse que no está consumiendo drogas o alcohol.
Within 30 days of being released, he must enroll in a 24-week domestic violence program.
How many hours after the release?
Within 30 days of being
Oh,
released.
Thank you. Tendrá 30 días después de salir en libertad para registrarse en un curso de 24 semanas de violencia familiar.
And he must present the certificate to the pretrial officer once he's done with all 24 classes.
Y él debe presentar un certificado a la oficina de servicios previos al juicio una vez que él complete las 24 semanas.
He must maintain a current address and report to court when summoned.
Él tiene que proveer una dirección actual, válida, y debe presentarse ante la oficina de servicios previos al juicio cuando se le diga.
And all this information is directed to Mr. Umberto. He is responsible for making sure that he complies with the conditions, not Ms. Teodora.
Todo esto se le envía al señor Umberto y él es el responsable en asegurarse en cumplir todas estas direcciones. No es la señora Elvina Teodora. Ella no es la responsable.
Thank you. That concludes this case.
Gracias.
All right. Ms. Chansey, could you just announce for everyone in courtroom 2 or ACDC if anybody needs the services of a Spanish interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. ¿Hay alguien que necesite el servicio de un intérprete en español para hablar con la señora jueza? Por favor, prenda su cámara y avísenos.
Anyone in courtroom 2?
¿Hay alguien en la sala 2 que necesite un intérprete?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Chauncey. You're
Thank
free to
you.
go. Ms.
Have a good
Molina, you are free to go. Mr.
Señora
Lewis
Molina puede retirarse.
Está
and
bien.
Mr. Louis iPhone, you're
Una
free to
pregunta.
go.
One question.
Just one second, just 1 second, please.
I'm not sure a signature bond will be available, so we're trying to get to something as well.
All right, what's the question?
¿Cuál es la pregunta?
¿Cuándo podría pagar hoy mismo?
When can I pay? Today?
All right, Ms. Molina, there is no need for you to pay. He's got a signature bond. You are free to go.
Señora Molina, no hace falta que usted pague nada. Él tiene una fianza bajo firma.
Ah, está bien, gracias.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Chauncey.
You're
Thank
welcome. Have a good weekend. Your
You
Honor.
too, thank you.
You're welcome.
Courtroom 2, who do we have, please? Ms. Strong, you can remove Ms. Molina and Louis' iPhone from Zoom, please. Thank you. Again, if you are, okay, courtroom 2, who do we have?
Position number 28, Mr. Williamson.
'28, okay. And who is this? Let me see. That's for Ambrose Williamson. Joyce Cook, are you here for Ambrose Williamson?
Not sure when you guys will be called, it's gonna be a long calendar. They'll be called today. You'll get some kind of bond today.
Joyce Cook, if you're not here for Ambrose Williamson, please stop your video. Thank you. All right, this is Ambrose Williamson, accused of criminal trespass and willful obstruction of an officer from July 2nd, 2024. Mr. Williamson, case number is 24 CR 4366G. And he's been advised of his right to remain silent. His attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
Only prior arrest was in 2021 for simple battery, family violence, no disposition.
All right, thank you. Ms. Desiano?
Your Honor, in this case, the state's recommending a signature bond through pretrial, a stay away from the Chevron at 2656 Donnelly Howell Parkway, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. The defendant has been criminally trespassed from this location and returned on July 2nd.
All right. Ms. Kim, it's going to be a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 on each count, and he must report to pretrial once a month. And if he gets arrested again, please be sure that he knows he has to come back to jail with $2,000 to bond out the next time. He is to stay 200 yards away from the Chevron at 2656 Donnelly Hollowell Parkway. If he returns to that location, including the parking lot or the sidewalks, he will be arrested again for trespass and his signature bond will be revoked. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we go to 22, Ramsey.
I'm sorry, what was that position number?
22, Ramsey.
22.
Yes.
Person appearing on iPhone, are you here for Justin Ramsey? All right. Then Justin Ramsey is accused of battery from 24 CR 4406A, allegedly on October 23rd, 2022. Mr. Ramsey, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. All right, and any priors, Ms. Bostic?
Only prior arrest, it had yesterday's date, but only prior arrest is a criminal possession of a weapon in the 4th out of New York.
All right, thank you. And who is this person appearing on Zoom, iPhone? The young lady in the gray shirt, please unmute.
I don't think I'm not for this case.
All right, please.
No,
Stop that
his
video.
mother.
Whose mother are you?
Justin Ramsey's.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Desiano, any recommendation for bond?
Your Honor, I guess I have an inquiry for pretrial. I believe he has an arrest from New York, so I'm concerned that he's a resident of New York. And if
That's
he is,
rehab, that he's a resident of New York.
okay, thank you. Your Honor, in that case, the state is recommending a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with Anthony Sanders, stay away from the incident location, taking complete 1 day of anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And that's based on, this incident did happen almost 2 years ago, Judge, in October 2022. Essentially, the victim was jumped by several people. One of those people was the defendant, and he was injured. His tooth was knocked out. He had bruising, bleeding. Our office has been in touch with the victim. He states that he hasn't had any contact with this defendant since this incident and wants no contact. And if we could sound for Mr. Sanders.
Okay. Anthony Sanders? All right. Antoinette Blake, are you involved in this case?
Are you employed?
Antoinette Blake, are you involved in this case? All right, please place her in the waiting room, Ms. Strong. Thank you. All right, Justin Ramsey's mother, if you'd like to raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And what's your name?
Crystal Massey.
Crystal Massey. All right, and Miss Massey, does Justin Ramsey live in New York?
Well, he is deciding where he needs to be. We're trying to see financially where he's fit to stay because New York is kind of pricey. So he does have a Georgia ID and he needs to make a decision on that.
All right, thank you. You may mute your screen, please.
Okay.
And Miss Kim, yes, what would you like to tell me?
Yes, Mr. Ramsey is 27 years old, and as his mother is here in Georgia, he does have a connection to Georgia, Your Honor, and he can always come back and forth. It's not a problem. I believe this happened in 2022 when I was looking at the warrants. I'm assuming they are duplicates, even though they do have a different warrant numbers. So I want to make sure that one of them gets NOD'd. And Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond. He is gainfully employed as a dogs walker. He walks the dogs.
Okay.
And during the summer, he does not make a lot of money, so he's still qualified for public defender services. He's single, no child. However, he does have a high school diploma. And we do have a good mailing address and email address and phone number. So I think he should be of flight risk at all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ramsey, your bond's going to be set at $2,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. This is going to be a level 2, which means you report to pretrial twice a month. You are to maintain a current mailing address in Georgia. If you change your address to out of state, you must update the court clerk's office in writing within 24 hours of changing your address. You're to have no further contact with Anthony Sanders. You have to stay 200 yards away from him and not communicate with him in any way, form, or manner, including in person, through any electronic devices, and on social media. Your next court date will be sent to your current mailing address. Thank you.
Your Honor, which battery charge was NOD?
I only have one count on the calendar.
Your Honor, I NOD'd the second one.
Which is ending 312? One number, sorry. One number ending 312.
It is, let's see.
All right, Miss Massey, you're free to leave the Zoom. Thank you. Yes, electronic warrant EW0390312 has been NOD'd according to jail records. So we're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right. Next case, please, in courtroom 2.
Position number 26, Tillman. Tillman.
I'm sorry, which position did she say?
26, Demetrius Tillman.
Thank you.
This is Mr. Tillman, case number 24 CR 4412G, accused of failure to obey traffic signs willful obstruction of an officer in driving while license suspended or revoked from September 15th, 2023. Mr. Tillman's new accusation number is 24 CR 4412G. And Mr. Tillman has been advised of his right to remain silent, and his attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
Yes, Judge, 34 cycles, couple of convictions for driving with suspended license, 21 and 17, 2 FTAs, 23 and 18, history of probation violation, possible open battery out of the cab from 8/8/23. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Sessiano?
Honor, the state in this case is recommending a $2,000 good bond, $1,000 on the driving unsuspended, and $500 on the remaining counts. And that's based upon a traffic stop that was initiated after the defendant ran a red light in September 15th of 2023. And he told the officer his license was suspended, got out of the car, and ran away.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Tillman, is 32 years old. I believe his mother, Ms. Joyce Cook, is under Zoom right now. We would like to request for a signature on bond or pretrial. Your Honor, he does have a probation violation. Because of that, he will be in jail for a while until he gets next court hearing dates. He is gainfully employed as a tattoo artist, and however, his average income is still low enough for him to be qualified for public defender services. He does not have a GED. Actually, he does have a GED after completing up to 11th grade, and he has 3 minor children. 2 of them he is currently residing with, and one of them he's paying for child support every month. So he does have to be back to take care of the 2 children. We would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial. Thank you.
Right, thank you. On the failure to obey traffic signs, it's a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. On the willful obstruction is a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. On driving while license suspended revoked, given his 2 prior violations, this is going to be a $2,000 surety. No driving unless he has a valid driver's license, adequate automobile insurance, and proper registration for the vehicle he operates. His total bond is a $4,000 split bond. His next court date is July 18th. And yes, he does have a probation hold under case number 14 SC 126048. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We go to position number 27, Mr. Tyler.
This is State versus Murphy Lee Tyler, accused of theft by shoplifting. Case number 24 CR 4411E from July 3rd, 2024. Mr. Tyler, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
10 cycles in Louisiana, prior ag battery in the 2nd degree in 2017 and 15, 10 cycles in Georgia, open battery, theft by shoplifting. He's on probation for theft by shoplifting, sentenced 6/20/24 for 90 days, theft by shoplifting, criminal trespass, willful obstruction, sentence 8/31/23 for 12 months, 2 FTAs, 24 and 23. Last arrest was 6/17/24 for theft by shoplifting. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Desiano, what's the recommendation?
Your Honor, given the defendant's history, the state is asking for a $1,000 good bond, stay away from the BP at 180 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And in particular, Judge, this case occurred on July 3rd at the BP. The manager told police that he's been shoplifting multiple times, and he keeps calling the police, but the police aren't, showing up fast enough to apprehend him. So during on this incident, I guess there were several prior shoplifting incidents from the manager that the manager told police that we don't have any arrests for. So just like the court to take that into consideration when determining bond.
All right, thank you. Ms. Joyce Cook, yes, you may leave the Zoom. Thank you. Ms. Kim, what's the recommendation for Murphy Tyler?
Yes, Your Honor. Murphy Tyler is 33 years old, Your Honor. He has another hold at Cavan. Anyway, so I was wondering if you can get signature on bond through pre-trial or jail and then release to Foreign County or another hold.
Okay, thank you. On the theft by shoplifting, that's going to be a $1,500 surety. To stay away from the BP gas station, 500 yards away from the BP gas station at 180 Ralph David and Abernethy in Atlanta, Georgia. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. And his next court date is going to be July 18th, excuse me.
Your Honor, he is very indigent financially, Your Honor. He is homeless. There's already a set bond for $1,000 good bond. Can he at least have 1,000 remain?
I don't know if the electronic warrant judge who set the 1,000 had the benefit of his criminal history record, but given his open probation case and his prior convictions and his repeated alleged offenses, and plus he's got multiple, and he's a multi-state offender. The bond has been set at $1,500.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Position number 21, Mr. Rackstraw.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm going to say this. If you are a victim, a witness, a family member coming here to support defendant, keep your video and yours on off and your audio on mute. Antoinette Blake, keep your audio on mute. If there is any non-compliance, I will have you either placed in the waiting room or removed from Zoom entirely. We have a long calendar, and I'm not going to tolerate any interruptions. Thank you. Courtroom 2, who do we have, please?
Position number 21, Rackstraw.
I'm sorry, did you say 22?
21.
21, okay, got it. Thank you. This is State versus Lucius Lakestraw, accused of theft by shoplifting from July 3rd, 2024. Mr. Lakestraw, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
42 cycles, FTA, and 21 just took a plea, 5/13/24 for theft by shoplifting, open case for theft by shoplifting in DeKalb, 2 open cases for theft by shoplifting in Felton, and an open case in DeKalb for theft by shoplifting, 4 counts.
Thank you. Ms. Desiano, what is your recommendation?
Your Honor, given the defendant's criminal history, the state's recommending a $2,000 good bond, a stay away from the target. Well, let's do all targets in Fulton County. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond. Your Honor, the conviction that he has from May of 2024 was actually 3 counts of shoplifting. I believe that this defendant does qualify for felony upgrade. Our office is in the process of gathering those dispositions at this time. I do expect this case to be transferred. Essentially, the defendant went into Target and ignored loss prevention and walked out with $203 worth of men's soap and soda.
Ms. Kim, any recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond through jail to be released to another county. He already has a hold, so he's waiting for the pickup by DKSO, that's the issuing authority. And he is gainfully, he's actually not employed, Your Honor. And he is residing with his auntie. He does have a mailing address, so he's not going to be running away or going anywhere, Your Honor. So signature on bond through pretrial, thanks.
But he does show a propensity to reoffend. Case bond is set at $1,500. It is a surety bond. Mr. Lakestraw, the prosecutor is going to be recommending that this case be upgraded to a felony charge, given your multiple theft by shoplifting convictions on your record. Your next court date is going to be July 18th. And Ms. Lewis, we're going to be addressing this case as well as the 2 other open cases listed on the calendar, 24 CR 691Y and 24 CR 1013Y. Thank you.
Your Honor, I do have an officer who's a witness in, it is position
3, Amber Clemens.
no, it's Brianna Thornton.
Okay.
Anyway, he's messaged me and said that he's at work. If there's any way we could take that case soon so he can return to his duties.
Do we have a warrant in that case? I can't recall.
I believe so. I mean,
if jail records or AC can confirm whether we have a warrant for Brianna Thornton, is that the defendant? Then the officer is free to go.
Your Honor, he is the victim. He would like to speak.
I see. Okay. Brianna Thornton is at ACDC. Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is Brianna Lachey Thornton, case 24 CR 4403A, accused of simple battery against an officer and disorderly conduct from July 3rd, 2024. Ms. Thornton, you have, and this is for all the individuals who are at ACDC as well. If you are accused of one or more misdemeanor offenses, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say during open court, which is not only being recorded and live streamed, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Ms. Bostic, any priors for Ms. Thornton?
No prior arrest history.
All right, I have a Maryland address. Would that be correct?
That's what's on when she was booked in, Judge. Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Desiano, what's the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, in this case, the state's recommending a $2,000 good bond, $1,500 on the simple battery, and $500 on the disorderly. No further contact with the victim, a stay away from the Utopia restaurant, taking complete 2 days of anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. Your Honor, this case arises from July 3rd. Essentially, the victim was very drunk. The defendant was very drunk at the Utopia restaurant at 2469 Piedmont Road. She was being escorted out of the restaurant by a security officer. She was belligerent drunk. She spit in the security officer's face. The victim in this case was actually another officer who witnessed the spitting, then arrested her, and then she was very belligerent still and spat on this officer as well. Our office has been in touch with him. He's also on the Zoom. He said he's been on the force for 5 years. He's never had anyone spit in his face. He felt violated. She was belligerent, calling him homophobic slurs, verbally abusive during the entirety of her confinement. She also spit on the security officer who declined to press charges. She threatened to slap the nurses and the correctional officers at the jail. And he feels her behavior should have consequences and that it was extreme given the circumstances. The officer that's on the line, Judge, is Officer Darren Jackson.
Thank you. Officer Darren Jackson, if you'd like to unmute and contribute to the proceedings, I'll need to place you under oath. Right.
Yes,
Officer Jackson, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
All right. And what would you like to add, sir, other than what the prosecutors have indicated?
Just nothing, just same thing. It's just I was completely violated. She was belligerent her whole time in custody. I put her in custody at exactly 2:04 hours. I left the jail with her at 5:30 a.m. and she was still being belligerent. It was just, I was in the Sally Port. I didn't even say a word to her. She literally walked up to me and said, "I'll spit on you," and spit in the left side of my face. Like I said, I've had fights with defendants where I can actually go home, go to sleep, and wake up and be fine. I went home, went to sleep, and woke up, and this was still on my mind. There was just no need for that. I feel like she really needs to learn her lesson for what she did. She had no remorse her whole time in custody. If it's possible, it's a 5-second video. I have the body cam video pulled up of when she spit on me in the jail.
I don't know how you're going to upload that, but we will take that up another day. But thank you, Officer Jackson. Sorry about what happened to you. Mr. Cook, you represent Ms. Thornton?
Yes, Your Honor. We've been getting some add-ons here, so I'm just now looking at the warrant. My client is from Maryland. She's been living here off and on for a while. All her family is in Maryland. She is not currently working, so she has very, very few assets. We understand the nature of the charges, but we would be asking for a surety bond in the neighborhood of $1,000. We have no problem with any stay away. We think anger management, we would object to anger management or the other courses that were asked for by the prosecutor.
All right, thank you. So she lives in Maryland, does she?
She has an Atlanta address and she's living here with a friend, but I mean, she spent most of her life in Maryland. But she does have an address where she can get mail, and I believe she plans on staying here a while.
Okay, all right. On the simple battery against a police officer, that's going to be $1,000 surety bond. On the disorderly conduct, that's going to be a $3,500 signature bond through pretrial services, level 3. Her total bond is going to be $4,500, and this is going to be a split bond. She will report to pretrial services every week. She is not to consume any illegal drugs, no alcohol, and not possess any weapons and any firearms. She's to stay 200 yards away from the Utopia restaurant at 2469 Piedmont Road in Atlanta, Georgia. She will be subject to random screens for alcohol and drug by pretrial services once she pays for the $1,000 bond portion. No violent contact with Officer Darren Jackson, and no violent contact with members of the law enforcement staff. Thank you.
We can go to position number 11, Mr. Jameen.
All right, Officer Jackson, you're free to go. Miss Strong, I think someone is indicating she can't hear or he can't hear the Zoom proceedings. Could you please let that user know they need to leave the Zoom and correct their device?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. We have Abdul Rahim, last name is Jamay, accused of battery, family violence, and cruelty in the 3rd degree from case 24 CR 4413H. Mr. Jamay, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Cook. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
That's not correct, Your Honor. It's just
I'm sorry, who's his attorney?
Oh, it's Mr. Todd.
Ms. Atay? Okay, I do beg pardon. Sorry. Your attorney is Ms. Hoda Atay. And any priors, Ms. Bostic?
In regards to Mr. Jamay, no prior arrest, 17 years old, nothing further.
All right, thank you. Is there a Rachel Miracle on Zoom? This will be the time to start your video.
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
All right, you need to start your video if you want to be addressed by the court. All right, and Ms. Williams, what is the recommendation for Mr. Jamay?
Your Honor, the recommendation is $2,500 good bond on the battery, family violence, and a $1,000 good bond on the cruelty to children. That recommendation is due to the defendant grabbing his mother by the throat, throwing her on the bed, and slapping her multiple times in the face. And this was done in the presence of 9-year-old L. Gordon. We're asking also no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. I'll defer to Ms. Rachel Miracle with regard to the contact.
All right, thank you. Ms. Miracle, if you'd like to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
All right. And are you comfortable with Jamay being back in the same home with you?
Yes.
All right. And are you in fear that he may engage in any kind of violent interaction with you or any other family member?
No.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Miracle, you may mute your screen. Thank you. Ms. Atay, anything to add?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 17 years old. He is he's pursuing his GED. He was homeschooled for I think until a year ago, so through high school, he was homeschooled. He does work at Walmart, although he states he may have lost his job. He hopes to become an electrician someday. He does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. He states that he's the one who called the police, and the complaining witness told me also that he is the one who called the police. I have no objection to no violent contact, and of course, I would want him to be able to go home. I would ask, this is his very first arrest, I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services with parent co-signer Rachel Miracle.
Ms. Miracle, are you prepared to co-sign his bond?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. On the battery family violence, that's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 2. And on the cruelty in the 3rd degree, that's going to be a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 2. He's to have no violent contact with Rachel Miracle, the minor referred to as LG, and any other family member within the same household. He may return to the location. His mother, Rachel Miracle, will have to co-sign the bond. She would need to make sure that she has the forms from pretrial services to co-sign the bond. Mr. Jamay is only allowed to leave the jail once his mother co-signs the bond. So Miss Miracle, whenever you're ready to have him released from jail, that's entirely up to you when you co-sign the bond. He is subject to a curfew. His curfew will begin at 6 p.m. and end at 6 a.m. every day. No consumption of any alcohol, no consumption of any illegal drugs, and no possession of any weapons and any firearms. He will also enroll in a domestic violence intervention program at his expense, and this must be enrolled within 30 days of being released. So, Mr. Jamay, as soon as you are released from jail, make sure that you enroll in a domestic violence intervention program at your expense. And this is a 24-week program, so you will have to attend classes for 24 weeks and present the certificate to your pretrial officer. You report to pretrial twice a month. If you fail to comply with these conditions, if you get arrested again for anything else, if you don't report to pretrial or you don't show up in court when summoned, your signature bond of $4,000 will be revoked and converted to either a cash bond or a surety bond. And yes, your mother and any adult in the household can enter any room without knocking in that house. Thank you. That concludes this case.
Next, we can go to position number 10. Mr. Hgab.
Miss Miracle, you're free to go.
Thank you.
This is Amari with 2 first A's, A-A-M-A-R-I, Hgab, accused of possession of a pistol or revolver by a person under the age of 18. Case number 24 CR 4409J. This allegedly occurred on July 3rd, 2024. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Oday. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
Judge, only prior arrest was 6/27/24, open case 24 PI 004589. Willful obstruction, 2 counts, and robbery. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is recommending a $3,500 good bond, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and to forfeit the firearm in this case. This is due to the July 3rd incident date where he was found to be concealing a loaded semi-automatic firearm in his right pocket. And as stated, Your Honor, he does have a June 27th, 2024 open robbery in Hateville, Your Honor.
All right. And thank you. Ms. Oday?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 17 years old. He is a rising senior at KIPP Atlanta Collegiate High School. He's set to graduate in May 2025. He plays football and hopes to go to college. once he graduates. He does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. I thought this may be a conflict because there were a lot of other people in the car, people arrested, other weapons in the car. And as well, he denies the allegations in the open case. I did speak with his mother. She stated that she would be on the Zoom and be able to co-sign the bond. He is also gainfully employed full-time at Hertz. And actually, he doesn't even qualify for public defender services. And Your Honor, I would like to ask for a signature bond through pretrial services with the parent co-signer. And
what is the parent's name? Because I don't see anyone with that particular last name.
Her name is Akila Hgab.
Oh, there it is. All right. Akila Hgab. If you want to address the court, you would need to unmute and start your video. All right. All right, Miss Akila Hgab, would you like to address the court?
Yes.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
All right. You may mute your screen then. I see a Cortisha Hgab. Is that another family member who wants to be addressed?
I am his sister, but I don't need to be addressed.
All right, then you may mute your screen. Thank you. Given Mr. Hgab's recent arrest and released, the original charge in 24 PI 004589 was a armed robbery. For whatever reason, the charge was amended to robbery charge, and he was recently released on a 7,500 surety bond on June 30th, 2024. Just 3 days later, according to the sworn affidavit submitted by the police officer in the arrest warrant, Mr. Hgab has allegedly been found in a vehicle with 3 other individuals, and Mr. Hgab, Amari, was allegedly in possession of a loaded firearm that he was apparently attempting to conceal from the officer. Given this very disturbing circumstances, for the charge of possession of pistol by against Mr. Hgab, Amari of Hgab, the bond is set at a $4,000 cash bond only. He is to have no contact with Quintavious Hgab, no contact with the only other person I could identify was DeQuadre Love, the 2 other individuals in the vehicle. He is to be subject to a curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. He's only allowed to step out of the home in order to attend school, to go to work, to attend medical, or to attend his court appearances. So he has limited reasons why he can step out of the home. His next court date is going to be July 18th. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and definitely no firearms. You're not allowed to have a firearm in your home, on your person, anywhere near you, and any vehicle you occupy, irrespective of whether you're operating the vehicle or not. Thank you. Next case, please.
Position number 2, Chelsea Anderson.
Your Honor, what was the bond amount on that last?
4,000 cash bond only. Position number 2, I think that's Chelsea Anderson, accused of criminal trespass from July 4th, 2024, case number 24 CR 4391E. Ms. Anderson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, please?
Judge, in regards to Ms. Anderson, 3 cycles, convicted of obstruction out of the cab, 52824. Open case at the cab again for obstruction of a law enforcement officer impeding traffic, probably from 324. Nothing further.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, this is a July 4th, 2024 arrest. The state recommends a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, a stay away from the incident location of 725 Ponce de Leon Avenue Northeast, which is Kroger, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right. Ms. Kim, any objection to the stay away?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. The only problem I have is that she's residentially challenged, so I don't have a good address for pretrial.
She will be getting a 1328 Peachtree Road. There's free service, mailing service from Presbyterian Church. So she will be getting that. I also have her phone number and email address.
All right. Could you please send that to Ms. Lewis?
Yes,
and to pretrial services. Bond is set at 2,000. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. Level 2. She has to report to pretrial twice a month. She's to stay away from the Kroger at 725 Ponce de Leon Avenue. And if she returns to that location, she will be arrested again and her $2,000 signature bond will be revoked. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. Thank you.
Thank you. We can go to position number 14, Mr. King.
David King is accused of driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, failure to use the headlights as required by law, and failure to obey stop signs from July 4th, 2024, under accusation 24 CR 4390E. Mr. King, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Oday. Any priors, please?
Only prior is a battery in 2014, last arrest was 2015 for a probation violation. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Daciano, excuse me.
Your Honor, the state in this case is recommending a signature bond through pretrial, no driving, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, and that's based on a traffic stop that occurred around 7585 at University Avenue. An officer saw a red Kia driving without headlights, made a stop, noticed that the driver was intoxicated. The driver refused field sobriety tests. And then the last charge, Judge, it's my understanding that the defendant caused an accident about 30 minutes prior to this traffic stop, and he was cited in that case. So they're all three together, but I believe that they happened within 30 minutes of each other.
Thank you. Ms. Oday?
Yes, Your Honor. I have no objection to the signature bond through pretrial. My client tells me that he was actually rear-ended, so he didn't cause the accident. He is 64 years old. He's lived in Georgia all his life. He raised 2 children and has 9 grandchildren. He graduated from high school. He is semi-retired now, living on a fixed income. And he does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. His last arrest was 10 years ago, so I would ask for the signature bond through pretrial services, nothing further.
All right, on the DUI less safe, that's $1,000 surety bond. On the headlight requirements and failure to obey, headlight requirements is 500, and a failure to obey a stop sign is going to be 1,000. His total bond is a 2,500 split bond. No driving unless he has a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration. Please keep in mind that he, on a DUI, less safe, he would need to do the administrative license appeal in order to maintain driving privileges. His next court date is going to be July 18th. Unless he bonds out, then we will send him notice of his next court date if he's released on bond. Thank you.
Sorry, Your Honor, is that $1,500 signature bond through the jail?
Yeah. Let me repeat. On count 1, DUI less safe is $1,000 surety. Count 2 is 500 signature bond through the jail. Count 3 is $1,000 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you.
Next, we can go to position number 9, Mr. Harris.
State versus John Harris is accused of battery family violence from June 4, 2024. Case number 24 CR 4407D. Mr. Harris, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Tay. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
There's 10 cycles, 2 FTAs, and 23 history of probation violation, driving with a suspended license, and fleeing and eluding, open case out of Henry County, open felony cases, 23 SC 189825, theft by taking, 3 counts of entering auto and financial transaction, and open on probation for theft by receiving burglary, entering auto, street gang activity, sentence in 2018, 2 years confinement, 13 years probation out of Cobb.
Thank you. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor. The state recommends a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with Essence Edwards, and a stay away from the incident location of 3871 Red Wine Road, Southwest, Apartment number 5. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And this recommendation is with regard to the June 4th incident date where the defendant grabbed the victim by the hair, knocked her head on the wall, and also pushed and scratched her as well before leaving the location. And if we could sound for Miss Essence Edwards.
Miss Essence Edwards, if you're on Zoom, please unmute and start your video. No, I see someone on a Shalonda iPhone. Are you involved in this case?
I'm his sister. I'm here for John.
Okay. All right. And Miss Williams, just to clarify, Red Wine Road, is that where the alleged victim lives? Or I thought it was where she was doing a drop-off.
That may be, she was dropping off her child there.
Okay.
That may be, let me confirm.
Why don't you look into that, and I'll hear Ms. Atay's recommendations.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 24 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He is pursuing his GED, and he does work full-time, Your Honor, but he still qualifies for public defender services. He is the father of 2 minor children, one who's 3 years old and a 1-year-old. He shares the 3-year-old with the complaining witness. He firmly denies the allegations as stated in the warrant, and says he's being harassed by the complaining witness, who is upset because he has a 1-year-old with someone else. His sister was able to, I wasn't able to get in touch with the complaining witness. My client is fine with no further contact and a stay away, but his sister did provide me with screenshots of their conversations where she tells him, "Dumbass hoe, you got a whole warrant now. Let's see who's going to be mad and angry," crying, laughing emoji, pointing at him, which does indicate that she, is taking out the warrant just to harass my client and making things up. She said, "Now you have a whole warrant," and laughing at him that she's causing him to be arrested, and saying that his 1-year-old baby, she calls him a monkey-looking retarded baby. "I'll spit on that bitch. I'm still out here waiting. Bring your sister and the baby, and I'll piss on his face." I mean, this person is clearly after my client. He does firmly deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. He states that he never touched her. I would ask in this case, but my client has no violent history. I didn't hear any violent history. Definitely no domestic violence history. I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Williams, were we able to clarify? I think it was a drop-off, wasn't it?
It was a drop-off at a leasing office. The victim's address is on Hollywood Road.
Yeah, I don't need to know that. Okay. All right, thank you. On the battery family violence, is going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 3, which means that Mr. Harris must report to pretrial once a week. He is to have no contact with Essence Edwards. He's to have no contact with any child or children that he shares with Essence Edwards. If he plans to have any contact with the children he shares with Ms. Edwards, he needs to file a legitimation action in the appropriate superior court to obtain a court order regarding joint visitation, joint custody, and child support. He is to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program within 30 days of being released. So by his 3rd or 4th visit with pretrial, He must show proof that he has enrolled in a domestic violence program and that he will attend all 24 classes at his expense and present a certificate of completion to his pretrial officer. No further contact with Essence Edwards means that you're not to contact her, and no person on your behalf shall contact her either. To stay away 200 yards away from her and the children she shares with you, and not to communicate with her in person, through a third party, through any electronic devices, and on social media. Thank you.
Next, we can go to position number 12, Mr. Johnson.
12. Okay. State versus Marcus Johnson, accused of battery, family violence, case 24 CR 4414Y. Mr. Johnson's been advised of his right to remain silent, and his attorney is Ms. Oday. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
24 cycles in Louisiana, a criminal trespass and domestic violence in 2018, 1 cycle in Texas, 5 in Georgia, FTA in 2020, open case in Riverdale for disorderly conduct and willful obstruction from a 6/25/24. A couple of other open misdemeanors from 6/12/24, giving false name and obstruction, and from 6/10/24 for giving false name and obstruction, 3 counts.
That's good. Thank you. That's good. Appreciate it. Ms. Williams, what's the recommendation?
State recommends a $2,500 good bond. I have no further contact with Shanita Johnson and to stay away from the incident location. However, if she's on the line, I will defer to her wishes.
I'm his mother. I'm his mother.
Okay, good.
Okay. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Johnson?
And very briefly, this is with regard to the fight where his mother advised him that she could discipline her own children. As a result, he took a phone and struck her in the face, causing a laceration.
All right. And this was from July 3rd. Okay, this year. Understood. Anything else, Ms. Williams?
Now we'll hear from the victim, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Johnson, if you please raise your right hand. Other right hand.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Oh, what would you like to tell us, or did you have anything else to add in addition to what the prosecutor has indicated?
Well, no, I don't, but I don't want to press charges.
Any particular reason?
Because at the end of the day, it is my child, you know.
Understood. Thank you. Ms. Oday?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 25 years old. He is a Georgia resident. He did earn a GED and attended some college. He states he does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. He states that he's the one who called the police, and I think the complaining witness stated that he called the police, Your Honor. She stated that she's not afraid of him, and she didn't want to press charges. I understand there is some history. I didn't hear any violent history. I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services, no violent contact with the complaining witness, and nothing. They don't live together, Your Honor. Nothing further.
All right. Just 1 second. Okay. On the battery family violence, Mr. Johnson, I'm glad your mother was here in support of you. What's most concerning is all these other open cases against you. So I'm not sure at what point she's able to have you comply with the requirements of pretrial services. The bond is going to be set at $5,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services level 3. You may have no violent contact with Shanita Johnson, but you're not to return to 1325 Virginia Avenue in East Point. You may go there one time only with a police officer to retrieve your belongings, and within 30 days, you must update the court with a new mailing address. In other words, you can have contact with your mom, but you cannot live with her. You are to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program within 30 days of being released. and you will complete all 24 classes with a certificate to be presented to your pretrial officer. The decision to prosecute is not with the victim. The decision to prosecute is with the prosecutor, the Solicitor General's office. So the ultimate decision to move forward with this case resides with the prosecutor and not with the victim, even though she decides she doesn't want to press charges. So keep in mind, you can have contact with Ms. Johnson. It cannot involve any physical or verbal altercations. And but you cannot reside in the same home. You must update the court with a new mailing address. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons, and to enroll in DVIP within 30 days. Thank you.
Next, we have add-on 2, Smith Ponder. Or Jasmine Ponder.
State that name again, Deputy Milton.
And according to the poll sheet on the court calendar is Smith Ponder, first name Jasmine.
Okay.
But she goes by Jasmine Ponder.
Okay, thank you. Miss Lewis, what position number would that case be?
Add-on 2. She's on the
add-on.
Counter, Judge.
Okay, I'm so
Add-on 2.
sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Let's see. These were additional cases added. Okay, there we go. Yes. Jasmine Smith Ponder, also known as Jasmine Ponder, is accused of simple assault, family violence from July 2nd, 2024. Ms. Ponder's case number is 24 CR 4417C. You have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Cook. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
3 cycles, no conviction on GCIC, last arrest 2013.
Thank you. And Ms. Williams?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation on this case is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, no further contact with Jyla Ponder, her 15-year-old daughter. We're not asking for a stay away, being that this is the defendant's home. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. The reason for this, Your Honor, this recommendation is with regard to the July 2nd incident that occurred, where there was a fight between Jyla and her sibling. As a result, the defendant threw a conditioner bottle. The victim, Ms. Jyla, got upset and then began trying to fight her mother. As a result, her mother did hit her in the face, causing a laceration to her hip. And then, that being the case, Jyla ran into the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and threatened to kill Miss Ponder. Both were arrested in this case, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor.
On Miss Ponder, that's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services level 1. No violent contact with Jyla Ponder. She may return to the home. While she'll report to pretrial once a month. And while she's on pretrial services, she will attend and complete 1 parenting class. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. All right, Ms. Smith Ponder, you will report to pretrial once a month. You have a signature bond. You are to have no physical or verbal altercations with Jyla Ponder. And while you are out on a signature bond, you will enroll and complete 1 parenting class. And this class must be completed within 120 days of being released. Thank you.
Next, we can go to position number 1, Mr. Allison.
This is State versus Melvin Allison, accused of simple battery family violence from June 4th, 2024. Mr. Allison's case number is 24 CR 4389J. Mr. Allison, you have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any prize, Ms. Bostic?
7 cycles currently on probation for ag assault, 3/21/19, 1 year confinement, 4 years probation, history of probation violation, nothing further.
All right, thank you.
The state recommends a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with Shanteria Hurd, to stay away from the incident location of 386 Lindsay Drive. And this with no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. This is regard to the June 4th, 2024 incident where the defendant picked up a can and threw it at the victim, striking her in the back of the head. And if we could sound for the victim, Ms. Shanteria Hurd.
Ms. Shanteria Hurd, if you'd like to contribute to these proceedings, you need to start your video.
Oh, okay. Hi.
All right, Ms. Hurd, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And what would you like to tell us?
Me and Melvin were actually in an ongoing relationship, have been for 5 years. You know, basically this is a hiccup in the relationship. We share a 14-month-old daughter together, and Your Honor, he's the primary caretaker of the household. So, you know.
Thank you. All right, please mute your screen. Mr. Cook, anything to add?
Your Honor, only that my client is 33 years old and has lived in Atlanta his entire life. He is a forklift driver for Reys Logistics. He is the breadwinner in this family, and they live together at the Lindsay Drive address. And there is I guess it's a 14-month-old child that he has primary financial responsibility for, since he is the breadwinner. We would ask that there be no restriction, there would be no stay away and no absolute restriction on contact, no further violent contact. We would object to a stay away, and we would ask for the lowest surety bond possible. We would actually seek the signature bond, but I understand the background would preclude that. So we want the lowest security bond we can get, given a fairly modest income and familial responsibilities.
Okay, thank you. Bond is set at $1,000. It is a surety bond. No further contact with Shanteria Hurd, and he's to stay away from 386 Lindsay Drive in Atlanta, Georgia. He may return to the location one time only with a police officer to remove his belongings, and within 30 days, he must update the court with a new address. No contact with Ms. Hurd means that you are not to communicate with her in any way, form, or manner, and to stay 200 yards away from her. In order to have visitation and custody with the child or children that you share with Ms. Hurd, you must file a separate legitimation action in order to establish joint visitation, custody, and child support. Your next court date will be June 18th. Thank you. July 18th, I beg your pardon.
Brianna, we can go to position number 6, Mr. Felton.
Okay.
Felton.
Johnny Felton.
Felton.
State versus Johnny Felton, and is accused of criminal trespass from July 3rd, 2024, case number 24CR 4398C. Mr. Felton, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
48 cycles currently on probation for entering auto. Sentence in 2023. Everything else is more than 10 years old. Nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Miss Williams, excuse me.
Yes, Your Honor. State recommends a $2,000 good bond and stay away from the incident location of the Texaco at 1117 Lee Street. no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. This recommendation comes from the July 3rd incident date where he was found at that location after just being trespassed from there on June 18th of this year, Your Honor.
Okay. And does he have a probation hold, Ms. Williams or Ms. Katrina Lewis, if you can see? I don't know if he has a probation hold, but while we're looking into that, Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is lifelong resident of Atlanta. He's 62 years old.
No, 65.
No, he's 65 years old, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I'll take his word for it. He is not.
Was he born in September 11th, 1961?
I wasn't born in Gregory.
What's your date of birth?
He just told me.
September. Hang on. It's September 11th, 1961. So it's whatever.
That would make him 63 years old.
63. Yeah, we split the difference there.
No.
Okay.
65, 66.
He is not employed. We would be asking for a signature bond. He has no way of making a surety bond. And he does have a residence, 1312 Sparta Street in Atlanta. So again, we would be seeking a signature bond. We have no objection to stay away, obviously. No further.
But Mr. Felton apparently has a trouble with math. Maybe he'll understand this.
No, get paid.
I'm sorry, sir. Do you want to repeat that?
No, Your Honor, I can't. Your Honor, I didn't understand it either. I'm sorry. I truly didn't. I don't know what he said.
Mr. Felton. Mr. Johnny Felton.
Johnny, listen to me.
I'll have to repeat.
Well, it's okay. You need to be quiet.
Your bond is set at $3,000.
I ain't paying.
It's a signature bond through the jail.
I got 3 days in my name.
If you return to the Texaco gas station at 1117 Lee Street.
I don't care what that is, my son.
Okay, bond is set at $1,000 surety bond. Reset date is July 18th. Thank you. Stay away from the Texaco.
And there does not look to be a probation hold. All
right. Thank you. We'll see you on July 18th. Thank you. Next case, please.
Position number 7, Mr. Fuller.
All right.
Who's this?
And do we have the alleged victim on the screen?
What position is this, Judge?
7, George Alfred Fuller, who's accused of simple battery family violence from February 13th, 2024. Case number 24 CR 4404G. Mr. Fuller, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Cook. Any priors, please?
No priors.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor. The state recommends a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with Dejanay Kuchenber, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we ask that he stay away from not the incident location, but from the victim's address, Your Honor.
Understood. Thank you.
And this is, I'm sorry, with regard to the February 13th, 2024 incident where he headbutted her in the face multiple times. And this was done while she was seated in the back seat of the vehicle and while she had her young child there as well.
All right. Thank you. Is there a Dejanay Kutch member on Zoom? All right. Mr. Cook, what's your recommendation?
Yes, sir. Just first, my client denies the allegations that stated in the warrant. He was attacked by his girlfriend's parents, and they did damage to. They hit him. They did damage to his car, and he denies headbutting Ms. Kuchenberger. I'm sorry. We would be asking, Your Honor, he has no problem with the stairway and no further contact. Obviously, he lives at 6979 Roswell Road, so, well, stairway would not be inappropriate and because she doesn't live there. And I know they didn't request that. We would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. Again, we have no problem with no further contact, and we just want to see him go back home.
All right, thank you. Yes, I read that rather lengthy warrant, and it appears that the father-in-law was cited also from this particular incident. And a warrant was taken out against Mr. George Fuller for this particular incident as well. On the simple battery family violence, the bond is going to be set at $4,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services, level 2. He's to have no further contact with Desimo Kutch member and no contact with any child or children that he shares with Ms. Kutch member. If he plans to have any contact with child or children that he shares, he must file a separate legitimation action and obtain a court order to establish joint visitation, custody, and child support. He may return to the Roswell Road location, but he's to stay 200 yards away from Ms. Desimo Kutch member, any of her immediate family members, as well as the children, with the exception of a legitimation court order. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. And he needs to make sure that he shows back up in court when summoned. Thank you.
Next, we could go to position number 16, Mr. Miller.
Okay. This is State versus Gregory Miller, accused of simple assault, family violence, and terroristic threats and acts. Case number 24 CR 4394B. Mr. Miller, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Oday. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
38 cycles of simple assault and disorderly conduct in 2015. Theft by shopliftings in the last 10 years, FTA in 23 and 23, 20, 16, 16. On probation for purchase, manufacturing, sale in 21. 1 year confinement, 4 years probation. He has open case for DUI, driving while license suspended, 24 CR 001917 7B. And then for use of fighting, 21 CR 008708. And then I have 22
I have an open SC case or PI case. Is that correct?
CP case 207159. There was one where it's the same victim declined to prosecute on the terroristic threats.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing further.
Ms. Desimo?
Your Honor, the state's recommending a $2,000 good bond in this case, $1,000 on each count. No further contact with the victim, Ms. Tamika Gay. Stay away from the incident location. Taking complete family violence intervention. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. The recommendation is based on a dispute that happened at 1742 Willis Mill Road, Your Honor. The defendant has been previously ordered to stay away from this location as of January 23rd, 2023 in case number 24 CR 000458F. It is a different victim in this case. That case was a battery against someone else who lives in that household. Regardless, the defendant's been ordered to stay away and again, causing trouble at this location too. He put the victim in extreme fear for her life. He was trying to basically break into her house by kicking a door. He wasn't successful. He said he was going to try to kill her. And he picked up a chair and threatened to hit her with it. And that's the basis for the recommendation. If the court can sound for Ms. Tamika Gay.
Ms. Gay, if you're present, please unmute and start your video. All right, Mr. I'm sorry, Ms. Desimo, you said that was 23 CR 458F?
I have 24 CR. That wouldn't make sense if that was a 2023 order, would it? It's 24 CR 000458F.
Put you out.
So he would have been ordered, I guess, to stay away since January 23rd of 2024.
Okay. And Ms. Ate?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 50 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He has 2 grown children. He is gainfully employed in remodeling and construction. He did graduate from high school. He does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. This is his wife. The complaining witness is his wife, but they are living in separate locations, so they don't live together. And he would be fine with no further contact. I haven't been able to speak with the complaining witness. And I understand there's some history and some open cases, but not with the same victim. I didn't get the pretrial reports today, so I'm just looking at Odyssey. I think the victim in the other case may be his, well, it was dismissed anyway, the other terroristic threats and the simple assault, that was dismissed. I think it was his son. But Your Honor, I would have no problem with no further contact and a stay away from that location. And I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services. Nothing further.
All right. Ms. Gay, Tamika Gay? No? Okay. On the simple assault family violence, that's going to be a $1,500 surety bond. On the terroristic threats, that's a $1,500 surety bond. The total bond is set at $3,000 surety. No further contact with Tamika Gay. And again, stay away from 1742 Wills Mill Road in Atlanta, Georgia. You're required to stay 200 yards away from that location, as you were previously ordered under case 24 CR 000458F, in which you are required to stay away not only from that location, but have no contact with Judy Gay. All 3 cases, well, 2 cases, this one and 24 CR 458F are going to be reset to the next calendar of July 18th, unless Mr. Miller makes bond. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. He's got an open DUI case in which he's got a court date with Judge Porter on July 8th, 24 CR 1917B. If you are still in jail, then Judge Porter will be advised that you are currently still detained. Thank you.
Like you said, there was another case number?
Yes, 24 CR 000458F, and the signature bond will be revoked in that case.
24 is,
We can go to position 18, Mr. Oday.
And after position 18, Your Honor, can we go to position 20?
All right. We have Reys Oday. Accused of simple battery, family violence in case 24 CR 4401Y. Mr. Oday is charged with simple battery, family violence from July 3rd, 2024, with respect to one Tiki Rogers. Do we have a Miss Rogers on screen? No? Okay.
Your Honor, I did ask for a breakout for this case.
All right. And then we can go ahead, Ms. Strong, if you can place me, Ms. Desiano, and Ms. Ate. Ms. Bostic, any priors?
No prior arrest history, Judge.
All right, thank you. And SG Denise also wants to be in the breakout. Then you need to start your video.
She locked the door. And she getting mad at me. Sorry.
All right, again, this will be a last call for Miss Tikki Rogers, if she's present, to unmute and start her video. All right. Mr. Reys Oday, we have conferred with your attorney and with the prosecuting counsel. Your bond is going to be set at $3,000. It is a signature bond through pretrial services, level 3. which means that you report to pretrial services once a week. You're to be compliant with all medication and compliant with all MH treatment. You are to stay away from 2900 Laurel Ridge Way. You may return to that location one time only with a police officer to retrieve your belongings. And then after that, you have to update the court with your new mailing address within 30 days of being released. You are to have no contact with Tiki Rogers. You are to stay 200 yards away from Tiki Rogers. You're not to communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. And if you violate these conditions, you'll be back in jail with a surety or cash bond. Mr. Oday, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. Yes, sir?
May I send it to my email? Instead of
Send what to your email?
Can I write it down? Or should I say it right now?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking.
Should I write it down for later?
Mr. Oday, you can send me any contact information. I have your contact information.
Any communication that you wish to convey, you should direct that only to Ms. Hoda Atay, your public defense counsel. If you send it to anyone else, you open yourself up to incriminating yourself and making it very difficult for your lawyer to defend you.
Understood.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have position 20, Ms. Price.
This is Deella Maria Price, accused of battery, family violence, case number 24 CR 43198. This case has been reset multiple times from July 2nd, 2024. Ms. Price, you are accused of battery, family violence from June 30th, 2024, involving one Clinton Sambar or Sambu. You have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Cook. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
There's 3 cycles. There's a felony, terroristic threats, criminal trespass, and simple assault from 10/31/23 out of the cab with no disposition. Last arrest was 4/9/24, criminal trespass. That may be an open case from City of Atlanta. Nothing further.
All right, thank you. Ms. Desiano?
Your Honor, the state in this case is recommending a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with the victim, taking complete FVIP and MHET, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond. Your Honor, and that's based on the warrant. There's clearly some MH issues. She was agitated on June 30th and attacked. The defendant basically was trying to get out of the house, and the victim was trying to stop her, and she scratched him, clawed him, bit him, etc. She does have an open case in DeKalb of a violent nature. If the court could also sound for Mr. Sumlin.
This is Sumlin, that was the name, Sumlin. Clinton Sumlin, if you're on Zoom, please unmute and start your video. All right, Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client has lived in the metro area about 14 years. She is not working. Her position is that this was essentially self-defense. We would object to the FVIP. I know typically the mental health folks on misdemeanors like to start out with a BHET, so we would not object to that. That may be the best place to start, and then move up to the MHET.
Right. Bond is set at $1,000. It's a surety bond. No contact with Clinton Sumlin. Stay away from 2280 Campbellton Road in Atlanta, Georgia. No illegal drugs, alcohol, and weapons. Thank you. Next court date is July 18th. Next case, please.
Add-on position number 1, Mr. Gibbons.
This is State versus Rondell, Cavan, Givens, case number 24 CR 4415Y. Mr. Givens, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook. Any prize, Ms. Bostic?
Judge, 5 cycles, 1 FTN 24, 3 open cases in DeKalb. One is for a pistol under the age of 18. Other is for a simple battery. Other one is for marijuana with the intent to distribute. Last is for battery family violence, which was his last arrest, 6/11/24. Nothing further.
And the battery family violence was also in DeKalb?
Yes, all of his cycles are from DeKalb, Judge.
All right. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, the state recommends a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with Zakira Abercrombie, a stay away from the 5401 Biscayne Drive incident location, completion of a family violence intervention program course, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. This is with regard to the April 5th, 2024 incident date where the defendant, after hearing the victim's phone ringing, got upset and started beating on her while she was sleeping. And that's how she woke up. He also threw buckets of hot water on her while she was in bed near her 1-year-old.
All right. Mr. Cook?
Yes, I know that Miss Abercrombie had been during the entire process online. She may have dropped off. I don't.
Ms. Abercrombie, if you're on Zoom, please unmute and start your video.
Yes, I'm here.
Would you like to contribute or you
Yes.
can remain silent as well? All right.
Oh,
And you need to reposition yourself so that you're in a room with better lighting, or you can face a window because we can barely see you. You can just see an outline. Okay, very good. If you'd like to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right, what would you like to tell us?
I do not want to press charges, and I do want contact.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
This incident was from April 2024. Was hot water involved?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. You may mute your screen. All right, Mr. Cook, did you have anything else to add?
We would object to the FVIP, Your Honor. He is, all I can tell you is he's 19 years old. We've talked to his mother, if a co-signer on the E-bond is required, and she is willing to be a co-signer if that is a requirement. I'm not sure it is at 19, but he is not currently working, so he would have difficulty paying any bond of a considerable amount. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. On the battery family violence, that's going to be 2,000. On the simple battery, that's going to be 1,500. And on the cruelty is going to be 1,500. His total bond is going to be 5,000. That is a surety bond. He's to have no further contact with Zachariah Howard. He's to stay 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. This will also include no contact with any children that he shares with Miss Zachariah Howard. If he plans to have any contact with any child or children with Miss Howard, he would need to file a legitimation action in order to establish joint visitation, custody, and child support. He is also, next court date is going to be July 18th. Thank you.
Next, we go to add-on number 3. Mr. Stephen.
We have State versus Darius Stevens. Is that correct, Ms. Kim?
Yes, correct.
All right. And his case number is 24 CR 004416C. Mr. Stevens is accused of driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, and failure to yield the right of way from July 4th, 2024. Stevens, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, Ms. Bostic?
A fugitive from justice to bring him back for a Clayton case with no disposition for theft by conversion in 2021.
All right. So he's got a fugitive hold?
No, Judge, it was the fugitive from justice arrest was to bring him back to Clayton for that theft by conversion.
All right. Ms. Williams, or Ms. Desiano, I'm sorry, who is speaking?
It's me.
Okay.
The state, in this case, judge is recommending a $1,000 surety on the DUI on the failure to yield either a $500 surety or a signature bond. No driving, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol allowed on bond, and that's based on an accident that occurred at the intersection of Fulton Industrial Boulevard and Great Southwest Parkway yesterday. The victim stated that she had a green light, was going. The defendant also had a green light and failed to yield when he turned left. When the officer pulled him over, he noticed a strong odor of alcohol, and the defendant admitted to drinking at least 3 shots of tequila at a pool party.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 31 years old. There was no other driving history. We would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial, and especially signature on bond for the failure to right of way. He is gainfully employed at hotel as a front desk service representative. And also he does have a high school diploma, and he has a solid address here in Georgia. He was born and raised here. He's not a flight risk. There is no reason to intimidate any witness, no reason to commit any felony. So we would like to request for a signature on bond. Thanks.
All right. On the DUI, it's $1,000 surety bond. And the failure to yield is going to be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial services. He'll report to pretrial once a month. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. And he'll be subject to random screen for alcohol consumption and or illegal drugs. No driving unless he has a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration. It's a $2,000 split bond. Next court date is July 18th.
Next, we go to position number 17.
And after position 17, Your Honor, we go to position 13.
Okay. Position 17, I have Kurt Misko. Mr. Misko is case number 24CR4388B. He has been originally charged with hindering a person from making an emergency phone call from July 4th, 2024. The prosecution has added an additional misdemeanor charge of simple battery family violence against Mr. Misko. Mr. Misko, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, please?
No prior arrest history.
All right, thank you. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor. The state recommends a $2,500 good bond, no further violent contact with Martha Misko, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. The victim has also asked that he stay away from the incident location until she goes out of town this weekend on Sunday, and after that may return. This is with regard to the July 4th, 2024 incident day, where she advised that after making a comment to him, telling him to kill himself, he became angry and put both of his hands on her throat and pushed her onto the bathroom wall. He was able to call 911, but the defendant grabbed her cell phone and kept it.
All right. Ms. Martha Misko, you are on Zoom. If you want to contribute to this proceeding, you need to unmute and start your video.
Yes, I am here. I am unable to start the video.
Then I'm unable to address you then. Okay, there we go. All right, now we are facing a room with someone in a chair. So
I am trying to turn the video. I'm unable to turn the video toward myself, but I will turn the camera toward me.
Okay, all right. Ms. Misko, if you'd like to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I heard that you don't want any more contact with Kurt Misko and that he can return to the property. I don't know when. You want to elaborate on that?
Yes. I have found a place to go. I will be leaving home on Sunday, and I wish to have contact. I don't want all contact suspended because we have much to discern going forward. I am not afraid of him physically. I know he would not actually hurt me. but he has a history of threatening all financial. He currently controls all the financial assets we have. My name is not on any account that has money in it.
Miss Misko, other
Yes.
than the financial aspects, which I'm sure you can handle in either a separation or divorce case, but right now, all I need to know is whether you're comfortable with being in the same company with him.
Only with a mediator.
All right.
We
Thank
can
you.
contact my phone.
Understood. Thank you. All right. You may mute your screen. Thank you. All right, Miss Kim.
Yes, my client, Mr. Misko, is 60 years old and he is retired veteran. He served Army for 30 years. He was a lieutenant colonel when he retired. He was working as a OBGYN with a medical doctor's degree. He is 100% disabled right now, so he has been retired. And Your Honor, my client denies the allegations. His wife was suicidal. He just wanted to help and make sure that she was safe. There was a misunderstanding, and yet, since this is his first offense or first arrest ever, we would like to recommend for a signature on bond through pretrial, level 1, and no further violent contact, or no, he has no objection to no further contact either, and he would like to return back home on Sunday. Before that, he may need to stop by one time. Law enforcement officer escorted visit to retrieve his personal belongings. Thank you.
On each count is going to be 1,500. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. So that's a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. He will report to pretrial services once a month. He's to have no further contact with Martha Misko. He's not to communicate with her directly. He's not even through a third party. He's to stay 200 yards away from her and not try to communicate with her even through any electronic devices or even on social media. He may return to 2215 Desimo Road, Milton, Georgia at 11:59 p.m. on July 7th, 2024. So until then, he's to stay away from 2215 Dinsmore Road in Milton, Georgia. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and given his prior history, he's to relinquish possession of any and all firearms that he may possess. Any and all firearms must be surrendered to the authorities for destruction.
Your Honor, will he have a one-time law enforcement officer escort?
As I've said, he may return to the location at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on July 7th, 2024. Until then, he's not to return to the property.
Understood. Thank you.
No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. His next court date will be sent to the Dinsmore location. Thank you.
Next, we have position 13, Quinetta Jones.
Miss Quinetta Jones is accused of criminal trespass on July 2nd, 2024, case number 24CR4365B. Ms. Jones, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook. Any priors, Ms. Bosley?
Yes, Judge, she has a history of criminal trespass and obstruction, 22 obstruction, drug-related objects, 23 criminal trespass into cab, 20 simple battery, 2 counts, disorderly conduct in Clayton, criminal trespass in 2019 in Clayton, battery with family violence and battery and disorderly conduct in criminal 2018, criminal trespass in 2015, 3 FTAs. She has open cases. She's on probation for criminal trespass, sentenced earlier this year.
Oh, that's good. Thank you so much. Ms. Desiano?
Your Honor, the state's recommending $1,000 good bond to stay away from the Underground Mall and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. This incident happened July 2nd. An officer was flagged down by security at the Underground Mall. The security officer told the police that this defendant's been criminally trespassed since June 1st, 2024, and is back on the premises. She does have several open cases, Your Honor. Those cases, however, she has a permanent MARTA ban, and all those cases are related to MARTA from what I could see.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cook?
Your Honor, we have no objection to the recommendation.
Bond, was it a signature bond? I'm so sorry. I was trying to look up one of her cases.
No, Your Honor, I'm asking for $1,000 good bond.
Yeah, it's $1,000 surety bond. Stay away from the entire underground location at 66 Alabama Street in Atlanta, Georgia. Next court date is July 18th. Thank you. Next case, please.
Position number 8, Cavan.
This is State versus Johnny Givan, Givan, charged with simple battery family violence under case 24 CR 4405E. And this incident appears to be from May 18th, 2024. Mr. Givan, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook. Any priors, please?
5 cycles of DUI in 2012, open felony for theft by taking 23 CP 220256, and that appears to be his last arrest.
526?
256.
220. Repeat?
220256.
256. Okay, got it. Thank you. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the state recommends a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Latanya Shivers, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and to stay away from the incident.
Would this be the marital home? Or the
No,
graduate?
they are ex-spouses.
Okay. Then I'll just go with the no further contact. Thank you.
Okay. And this is
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Regarding the incident where while the victim was driving her ex-husband back home following another incident where he had gotten into an altercation with other people, he put his hands around her neck and attempted to choke her. He also attempted to punch her when her window was down once she was dropping him off.
All right. Is there Latanya Shivers on Zoom? All right, Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client denies the allegations that stated in the warrant. He's
Yes, Shivers.
Okay.
Okay. He's 42 years old. He's lived his entire life in this area. He is gainfully employed by the city of East Point. But once again, he's employed. His hours are off and on, so does make a lot of money. We would be asking for a surety bond in the $1,500 range against no issues with the stay away or no further contact.
So you are agreeing to a surety bond?
Well, I'm trying to fit it in this new statute, but actually we would certainly like a signature bond if the court would be so inclined at whatever level of court deems appropriate.
Okay. Ms. Shivers, did you want to contribute to the proceeding?
Just what I stated.
I don't know what you
earlier,
stated. So if you want to say anything now, you need to be under oath.
Yes, okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the information you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I swear.
Okay. Do you and Mr. Givan share children?
Yes.
All right. And what did you want to tell me about future contact with him?
I agreed to no future contact. I just prior to this incident right here, I hadn't
really seen or talked to Mr. Cavan since 2018. It was just my daughter's graduation thing and he came.
All
So
right.
other than me not seeing him, that's all I want. I don't care to really be around.
All right. And is there any kind of visitation or joint custody order between you and
No,
the children?
I'm sorry. Oh God, I'm nervous. Okay, the ways that he's been communicating with the children and everything, I communicated with his mom. I've never really had to communicate with him. His mom picks up my daughter and everything, so I don't never have to contact him.
All right, thank you. Mr. Johnny Cavan, your bond is going to be set at 3,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services level 2. You'll report to pretrial twice a month for your signature bond. Within 30 days of being released, you must enroll in a domestic violence program. It's a 24-week class and will be required that you attend each of those classes at your expense. You're to have no further contact with Latanya Shivers, and any contact with the children you share with Ms. Shivers shall be in compliance, strict compliance with any divorce decree, any kind of custody or visitation order that has been previously issued. Thank you. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons.
Just what was that bottom out again? I'm sorry.
3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 with a domestic violence requirement, DVIP within 30 days. No contact with Latanya Shivers. Next case, please.
Your Honor, we have 3 defendants that has not been put on the add-on calendar, and that is important too.
Okay, have we done with everyone on the main calendar?
No, we have one more at ACDC.
All right. ACDC, did you have somebody else from the main calendar? Okay. The 3 individuals who were on the add-on calendar, Rondell Givens, Smith Ponder, and Darius Stevens have been addressed. Givens was given a 5,000. Okay. Yeah.
It's not the 3 that's on the add-on. It's 3 defendants that has not been put on a add-on.
I understand. That would be, let's see now. Those would be the question you had at the beginning of the calendar. Okay, let's start with Thomas Porter. Is Thomas Porter in the courtroom?
He was upgraded.
Okay. So
Your Honor,
as
that's
long-
a DA transfer.
Yeah, so as long as we know that case is going to Superior Court and that case is going to be addressed at a felony first appearance. Okay. Next one is Brendan Masukani.
Your Honor, this is the case where it's 3 counts of sexual battery. 2 of the charges are linked to a Superior Court case. It shouldn't be. And I've been in touch with the DA's office to try to unlink it. While I've been in court, I've been on the phone with their office, and their office cannot figure out how to unlink it. They've asked for help from Edie Hutcherson. We have not heard back yet. The arrest in this case happened yesterday at noon. So if this case needs to be reset till tomorrow, it looks like that's what's going to have to happen. We'd still be within the 72-hour period.
All right, I think defense counsel had an objection. Was it Ms. Atay? Ms. Atay, if I reset it to tomorrow on July 6th, it will still be within the 72-hour requirement. So any objections?
Well, Your Honor, he was on the poll sheet today, so I do believe that he should have had a first appearance today, and I don't know why he didn't.
Well, we just heard from the state's recommendation, so we're going to address this case tomorrow, July 6th at 2 p.m. And hopefully any unlinking would have already been accomplished and the state would have accused the case prior to 2 p.m. All right.
And Your Honor, I just add it's impossible for me to accuse it. I'm ready to move forward on it. I just can't. And the DA's office has tried. I'm not really sure what the issue is, but the delay, I've been trying to fix this problem since about 7 o'clock this morning. We just
give
haven't.
me a clean case tomorrow. All unlinking, everything done tomorrow. Okay, next one is Kyle McCroskey.
Your Honor, that case is accused, but the clerk has not accepted it yet. The state's ready to move forward on that case as soon as it's pulled in.
All right.
He wasn't on the pull sheet. I think that's the reason why they thought it was supposed to be set to a SAP counter because they didn't see his name on the pull sheet. And that's the reason why it wasn't accepted at that
Yeah,
time.
I'm not sure. We've had a lot of issues with the sheet today. We've had a lot of add-ons, and I apologize for the back and forth. We've had a lot of issues today for
Let
some.
me ask, are we within the 72-hour requirement to avoid a Riverside issue?
Your Honor, one moment. That's actually Miss Williams' case.
Okay.
I'll look at the. Yeah, his arrest was July 3rd at 1:07 a.m. So that would
Repeat the date?
expire tomorrow at 1:07 a.m.
Okay, so we have to address Kyle McCroskey today.
Yes.
And Miss Lewis, can we get a accusation number?
Give me a second. I'm multitasking here. I'm only by myself, so
I know.
Michael's not here.
I'm gonna
Nobody
give-
else is here but me.
No, I'm going to give you a time. I just need to
Okay.
know which cases I'm going to be addressing.
Okay.
While we give you the time to get them accused. So the other one is Johnny Givon, which we've already addressed. And why are we addressing him again?
No, that's
Or not, Your Honor. I just got a list of booking numbers from courtroom 2, and I just sent an email to everyone with statuses of all the booking numbers they provided. So one of those is not an issue. We've already, have we addressed Mr. Given? I know we've addressed Mr. Givens.
We did.
Okay.
Then the other one is Cameron Austin. He's already accused under 24 CR 0044108.
I've interviewed him and we would be prepared for a hearing, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're going to go with Cameron Austin very soon. All right, next one is Quintavious Green.
We don't.
Deputy, do you have a green?
No.
Okay. So the only case that we are ready to address right away is Cameron Austin. And then Kyle McCroskey, we're just going to wait for the accusation number. All right. Thomas Porter is going to the DA's office. Brendan Masucchini and Quintavious Green may be addressed tomorrow at 2 p.m. Okay. Were there any other questions, Deputy?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Miss Katrina Lewis, we're going to address Cameron Austin, then we're going to give you a few moments to get the accusations.
Okay, Judge, give me a second here.
Okay. All right, while we are waiting on Miss Lewis, this is State versus Cameron Austin, case number 24 CR 0044108. Mr. Austin, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one is appointed to represent you. And presently, your attorney is Mr. Keith Cook. Under this accusation number 4410A, you have been accused of the following misdemeanor offenses, which is battery, family violence from July 4th, 2024, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and disorderly conduct. Miss Bostic, by any chance, would you happen to have a
Yes, Judge. No prior convictions, no prior violence, one arrest in Tennessee that was dismissed.
All right. Miss Williams or?
Yes, it's me, Your Honor. The state recommends a $2,500 Good bond on this case, 2,000 on the family violence, 500 on the remaining. To have no further contact with Jessica Pacheco. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if we could sound for the victim on this case.
Jessica Pacheco, if you are on Zoom, please unmute and start your video.
Hi, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Pacheco, did you want to contribute to the proceeding?
I did just want to,
Then may I place you
yes,
under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, what would you like? How do you know Mr. Cameron Austin?
I'm actually his girlfriend. I'm the victim in this case.
And what would you like to tell me?
I would like to object on behalf of denied access and contact with Mr. Austin. I am willing to forgive and move forward and allow contact and no further incidents regarding violence nor
Do you
abuse.
live together?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Cook, thank you. Ms. Pacheco, you may mute your screen.
Yeah, sure. My client is 22 years old. He works at Embassy Suites at the Atlanta airport. He's lived here. He's 28 years old. He's lived in the Atlanta area 22 years. As you heard, there is no record, and I would hope the court would take the wishes of Ms. Pacheco very strongly, and we would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. We don't believe there's any need for a stay away. Certainly no further violent contact would be appropriate, and that would be all your.
All right, thank you. Ms. Pacheco, were you the one who called the police?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
You're welcome.
On the battery family violence, that's going to be set at 2,000. The willful obstruction is 1,000 and the disorderly conduct is 1,000. The total bond is set at 4,000, signature bond through pretrial services, level 2. No further violent contact with Jessica Pacheco. You may return to the location, but there cannot be any future physical or verbal altercations with Ms. Pacheco, any of her family members, and any member of the law enforcement division. You are to report to pretrial services twice a month. Within 30 days of being released, you must enroll in a domestic violence intervention program at your expense. So by your 3rd or 4th visit with pretrial, you must show proof that you have enrolled in such classes. You will attend those classes and present a certificate of completion to your pretrial officer. At all times, you're not to consume any alcohol, no illegal drugs, and not be in possession of any weapons and firearms. You will be subject to random screens by pretrial for the consumption of any alcohol and or illegal drugs. Thank you. Miss Lewis, you will need a few moments to accuse Kyle.
Judge, what's going on now is that Cameron Austin case also apparently got scheduled on the SAP for July 11th. I don't know why. This was Mr. Austin, Cameron Austin.
Okay.
The case we just addressed.
So can we keep the July 11th date?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so for Mr. Well, since he's being released on a signature bond, so that can be taken.
No, we can't keep it, so he'll just be taken off because he's going to be released.
Right.
I just took it off, and I'm going to put his bond in the system, Katrina.
Okay. Then the other matter is Kyle McCroskey. What's going on there?
Okay, Mikhail McCroskey is in the process of being accused right now as we speak. I'm just waiting on the the accusation number.
Okay.
And I think that's the only one I see Mr. Green in there, but I don't know if he's supposed to, because I didn't see him on our pool sheet.
Okay, no, if these are the two possible cases that we will address tomorrow. Brendan Masukani
Okay,
and Quintavious Green.
okay, so I don't have to worry about Quintavious Green, but apparently he's gonna get accused anyway, right, today, but we're not gonna put him on the calendar.
Okay, so while we're waiting for McCroskey's accusation, may I go over the calendar or?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
I can, yeah, while we wait on that.
Okay, so on the add-on calendar for position 1, Rondell Gibbons was a $5,000 surety bond. Position 2, Jasmine Smith Ponder was a 3,000 signature bond through pretrial.
3,000 or 2,000? I got 2,000.
2,000, yeah, it probably was 2,000.
2,000 level 1?
That would be correct, yeah.
Okay.
That was Jasmine Smith Ponder.
That's correct.
And then Darius Stevens was a $2,000 split bond, reset July 18th. And then the other case we just addressed, which was Austin Cameron, and that was a $4,000 signature bond to pretrial level 2. Okay, so we're still on Kyle McCroskey.
Okay.
All right. And then on the main SAP calendar, and hopefully I can read my writing, but let's go. Position 1, Melvin Allison's $1,000 surety, reset July 18. Position 2, Anderson's a $2,000 signature bond to pretrial level 2 for the notice. 3, Clemens is I've got a 2,500 split bond, reset July 18th. Position 4, Tony Desimo is a 1,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1 for the notice. Position 5, Evans is a $1,000 surety bond for the notice July 18th, along with the 2 other cases listed on the calendar. Position 6, Johnny Felton is a $1,000 signature bond, surety bond. Reset date July 18th. Position 7, George Fuller is a 4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 8, Johnny Gibbon is a 3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 with FVIP. Position 9, John Harris is a 5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3 with FVIP. Position 10, Hgab is a $4,000 cash bond only, reset to July 18th. Position 11, Jamay is a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Position 12, Marcus Johnson is a 5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Position 13, Jones is a $1,000 surety bond, reset date July 18th. Position 14, David King is a $2,500 split bond, reset date July 18th. 15, Umberto Marcelino is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1 with a FVIP. 16, Gregory Miller is a surety bond, 3,000 surety I think it was a surety bond.
Yes, it's a $3,000 surety bond. You gave $1,500 on each charge.
Yeah, and then his other case, 24 CR 458F, the $2,000 signature bond through pretrial is revoked. So both cases are going to be addressed on July 18th. Kurt Misko, position 17, is a 3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 18, Oday is a 3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Stay away and no contact. 19, Owens is a 2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 with the FPIP. 20, Price is a $1,000 surety bond, reset July 18th. 21, Rakestraw, is a 1,500 surety bond, reset July 18th. 22, Ramsey is a 2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 23 Shields is a 2,000 signature bond through pre-trial with an FVIP requirement,
What level is that, Judge?
a level 1.
Mhm.
And position 24, Brianna Smith is a 5,000 signature bond to pretrial level 3. 25, Thornton's a 4,500 split bond. Reset date is July 18th. 26, Tillman is a $4,000 split bond. Reset date July 18th. 27, Tyler is a 1,500 surety bond. Reset date is July 18th. 28, Williamson is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Give me 1 second. I think we've got enough.
What was the bond on position number 3 again?
3, the main calendar. Darius Stevens is a $2,000 split bond. It's $1,000 surety on the DUI and $1,000 signature bond through the jail on the failure to yield. All right, I've got someone from, just let me know when you've accused the case for Cameron McCroskey, excuse me. And we have someone who's just joined us on iPhone 4. If you want to identify yourself, please unmute.
Judge, the one I was talking about, position number 3 on the main calendar.
Main calendar? Amber Clemens?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that was a 2,500 split bond, reset July 18. $1,000 surety bond on count 1. Excuse me, $1,000 signature bond through the jail on count 1. 500 signature bond through the jail on count 2, and $1,000 surety bond on DUI per se.
Okay, that's my fault. I meant 2, Judge, not 3. I apologize. I had 3.
So, we good?
No, I needed 2, not 3. That was my apology. I caught up the wrong.
Kelsey Anderson?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it's a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 to stay away from Kroger's. The person on iPhone, the man and the woman, if you'd like to unmute or somebody wants to send them a prompt to unmute. All right, Miss Lewis, please let me know when that's accused.
I think they're asking about the person y'all trying to accuse, the McCluskey person, Krosky.
Yeah, we got the case number now, Judge. Here,
All right, I'm all ears, Miss Lewis.
okay, it's going
Can you hear us now?
Yes, who are you?
Oh,
here for?
hallelujah.
Who are
We
you
couldn't
here
get-
for?
Sorry, say that again.
Who are you here for?
Kyle McCroskey.
All right, please mute your screen and hold until I ask you whether you want to say something.
Okay.
All right. So,
Okay.
Miss,
We don't know how to.
you did it just there. You go. Perfect. Okay. Yes, Miss Lewis, go ahead.
oh God, I just lost my
0044.
4. Thank you.
Is it 11?
What is going on with my computer? Okay, it's 24 CR 004418 F as in Frank.
8 as in number 8?
Yeah, the last one is 18. Yeah, 18.
All right.
And it's a criminal trespass.
All right, thank you.
Violation date July the 2nd, 2024.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay,
I muted them, Judge. I'm sorry.
that's all right. Mr. Cook, in courtroom 2, do we have a Kyle McCroskey in the courtroom?
Yes, we've been having here, Your Honor.
All right, whenever he's ready.
Has he been interviewed?
Yes, that's cool. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Ty. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's our last person.
Okay, all right.
Okay. This is State versus Kyle McCroskey, case number 24CR 004418F. Mr. McCroskey, you were recently arrested and booked at the Fulton County Jail, charged with criminal trespass from July 2nd, 2024. The case has now been formally accused by the Solicitor General's Office of Fulton County of the same offense. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you at the present time is Mr. Keith Cook. Would that be correct, Mr. Cook?
Your Honor, I interviewed him this morning, but
Okay.
he stated that he had a private attorney, but I don't know if they're on. Maybe his parents know.
Let's find out. All right, Mr. McCroskey, please unmute courtroom 2. Mr. McCroskey, who is your attorney?
My parents actually know, they got it for me. I was unable to make any phone calls since I've been in jail.
All right. The person who is on iPhone 4, if we can prompt them to unmute, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. And what's your name, sir?
Rondell McCroskey. I'm Kyle's
right.
father.
If you'd like to raise your right hand, please.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. Mr. McCroskey, have you retained counsel for Mr. Kyle McCroskey?
No, we have been advised by an attorney so he could help us find out what's going on, but Kyle does not have an attorney at this time. The one we were being advised by said that it was probably not necessary and that we could probably get the bond for him and then decide from there if we needed to retain him.
All right. Ms. Oday, would you like to continue representation until he retains counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Bostic, any priors on Kyle McCroskey?
No prior arrest history.
All right. And Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor. State recommends a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, no further violent contact with Kayla Lippincott, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. This is recommendation is with regard to the July 2nd incident date, where the officers spoke with both Ms. Lippincott and the defendant, who advised that they had an argument. During the argument, he did admit to picking up the security camera and throwing it in anger across the wall, causing it to break.
All right. Any objections, Ms. Oday?
Yes, Your Honor. I would request for a signature bond through the jail. My client is 32 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. This is his very first arrest. He graduated from high school. He is gainfully employed for several years now. He states that the complaining witness told the officers that she didn't even want him arrested. The complaining witness stated that she had been drinking, Your Honor, and he does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. Again, he's 32 years old. This is his very first arrest. I would ask for a signature bond through the jail, and that is what level he's recommended for, is a signature bond through the jail.
Bond is set at $1,500. Is a signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Kayla Lippincott. No weapons and no firearms. And next court date will be sent to his current mailing address. So, Mr. McCroskey, you can sign up for your bond. It is set at $1,500. You're not to have any future physical or verbal altercations with Kayla Lippincott.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you violate the no further violent contact, or if you get arrested again for anything else, the $1,500 signature bond through the jail will be converted to either a surety bond or a cash bond only.
Okay.
Make sure you keep up with your court dates. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, just one question, Your Honor. Can I have one question, please?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So you said I signed that in the jail. I've never been to jail, so I really.
They will process you and you'll be released through the jail. You won't have to pay anything.
Okay, I just want to clarify that. Thank you, Your Honor, for clarifying.
All right. I guess, Daddy McCroskey, you are free to go. Mr. Kyle McCroskey will be released on his own recognizance. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, Deputy, anything else?
No, that should conclude our business in forum too.
All right, thank you. Sorry it was so long, but hang in there for tomorrow. Minister Reed, yes. What
I'm
case
not
did
sure
you
I was,
for?
I'm not sure I was, this came to my phone. I do have two people that's in jail, so I'm not sure if they went to court. One is Joseph Starger. The other one is Quantavious Green.
Quantavious Green is not addressed today, and I don't know who the other person is.
Joseph Starger. Okay, so I just got this to join the Zoom call. So I don't know.
Be on the counter tomorrow, Mr. Green. So you can use
so
you can use
just
the
come,
same,
just
come back
okay,
tomorrow.
just do this tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
But-
So
but
you have
court-
nothing for
but court
Joseph
starts
Starger.
at 2:00. The court starts at 2:00.
Okay, all right. So you have nothing for Joseph Starger.
No, I don't know.
I
what
believe
that-
that's going to be on the felony first appearance. He's also the victim on one of Green's cases.
Yeah, he is. So I just wanted to talk on his behalf. So come back. I mean, for Mr. Starger, come back tomorrow for Mr. Green.
Your judge, I have
Yes.
Green here.
All right, but the
I
case
went
is
all
not
the way upstairs
accused.
to get Green.
Yeah, is this Quantavious Green?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it will be addressed tomorrow at 2:00.
You made me go all the way upstairs, Judge.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right.
Case is accused, Judge, if you want to address them. That's
Oh,
up to
is
y'all.
it accused?
Yeah. it
Hang on,
is.
hang on. I didn't know
He
that.
actually has two cases. Are both of them accused?
I don't think both of them are accused. Hold on, let me double check, because I did not know there was two in there. I thought it was just one. Let me see. Give me 1 second here. Yes, both, let me see. Yeah, both of his cases are accused. Let me give you the case numbers. The first one's gonna be 24 CR 004393, the letter G as in girl. I'll type them in the chat. That's the simple battery, 2 counts with the violation date of July the 1st of 2024.
Okay.
And the second one is going to be, let's see. The second one is 24 CR 004419, G as in girl. That is a battery, incident date 5/12/2024.
Okay.
And I see another case, that he has an open case, case number 21 CR 003713, G as in girl, but that case is still open. It's in front of Judge Mather. So it was on a plea and arraignment counter back on March 27th of 2024. And his notice was returned, and I think the case is still open.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lewis. And who represents Quantavious Green? Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Kim, are you ready to proceed with all 2 cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is State versus Quantavious Green. Mr. Green, my name is Judge Law. I'd like to first remind you of your rights. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. We have 2 new cases that have been accused against you. First one is 24 CR 004393G, in which you've been accused of 2 misdemeanor counts of simple battery from July 1st, 2024. And you have a second case, which is 24 CR 004-419G, in which you are accused of one count of battery from May 12, 2024. You've got another open case before Judge Mather, 21 CR 003-713G, in which you're accused of simple battery from March 22nd, 2020. And it appears that you may have a failure to appear from March 27th, 2024. All right. Ms. Bostic, do you have a history on Mr. Green?
Yes, Judge. Just a second. In regards to Mr. Green, he has open case simple battery 21 CR 003-713G, battery 23 CR 004-422G, possession of firearm by a convicted felon 23 CP 217723. One of those batteries, I was looking up, that victim is Dawn Harris.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Williams or Ms.
Yes, Your Honor.
Jasmine? Okay. What is your recommendation for these two new accused cases?
The first with the July 1st incident date, ending in 393G. State recommends a $2,000 good bond on each charge, a stay away from the 1040 Calhoun Avenue, no further contact with Michael Fleming and Joe Stodgill. This is with regard to the July 1st incident date. Officer Mosley was standing near the window with a clear view of the living room and did see the defendant's brother, Michael Fleming, walk to the door to open it. At that time, the officer observed the defendant strike his brother in the head and begin choking him, which prompted him to tase the defendant at that time. Also, while attempting to leave the room, the defendant slapped the second victim 3 times. That's Joe Stodgill. So we also asked for no drugs, alcohol, or weapons with regard to this charge.
All right. And what about the battery charge from May 12th, 2024?
With regard to the May 12th incident date, the state recommends a $3,500 good bond, a $3,500 cash bond, no further contact with Dawn Harris, a stay away from 3035 John Freeman Way, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And this is with regard to the incident date of May 12th, where the victim advised that he struck her in the back of the head for no reason, and also advised the officer that he does have a history of physically abusing her in the past, and that he was recently arrested on February 23rd of this year, Your Honor, for battery, with Miss Harris being the victim in that case as well.
All right. Was it Miss Kim? Miss Kim? That seems to be the, well, before we address you, Miss Kim, Minister Reed, did you have anything to add?
Yes, I would like to just say one thing.
May I place you under oath before you say anything?
Sure.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. These seems to be very troubling cases involving Mr. Green. What would you like to tell me?
Nothing. I would just like to say, well, something. I would just like to say I'm his aunt. And I've been asking for this over and over and over again, because as we can see that Quantavious keeps coming back for the same things, which we know he needs. He doesn't, jail is not what he needs. He needs help.
What kind of help?
His help, mental. He was diagnosed at a very early age.
We don't discuss mental health conditions or medical conditions in open court.
Okay, all right.
Because these are live streamed, so that's confidential information.
Okay, all right.
So,
I'm sorry.
All right. So you
Okay,
believe
so
you
who
need
can
some
I
kind of
address
medical
these
help?
to?
Okay.
Right. Yeah, medical help. That's what I suggest.
And how do you know
that's
him?
what I suggest.
How
That's
do you
my
know?
nephew.
Oh, your
That's my
nephew.
sister's child. And also with some of those cases, Michael Fleming is not his brother. I don't know how that got twisted up Michael Fleming is not his brother. Michael Fleming is his mother's husband. His brother was there with the incident. I was not there, but his brother did tell me what happened and that he was just he just opened the door. And that he don't know why him and my cousin Joseph Starger is his cousin. And they were just probably drinking and probably got into it, you know what I'm saying, an altercation or whatever, not meaning, harm, but hey, this is the law. So you cannot, do anything of battery, simple battery, of any kind of battery. But yeah, they are cousins and they were all in the house and they were probably drinking. Like I said, I think they need medical attention and that's just the bottom line, or it's going to keep going on and on and on.
Thank you.
And and Quantitative was turning himself in to a rehabilitation center on that Monday. And he never made it because the incident happened earlier before they could go, before they went to jail on July 1st.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Please mute your screen. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client, Mr. Green, is 39 years old and 36, but well, he claims that he's 36, but our booking report says he is 39 years old. Is your birthday? What's your birthday?
August 4th.
So we have August 4/84 at the booking report. However, he says that his birthday is August 4/87, Your Honor.
Yeah, we have 3 different birthdays for him on our booking sheet and different names. So
yeah,
and 3 different socials, 3 different licenses numbers. Yeah, I've got all kinds of information on him. But tell me what you want to do for a bond, because right now the state is asking for a cash bond.
He has no income to pay for that kind of bond, Your Honor. I would like to request for signature on bond for the condition that he is released to St. Jude rehabilitation place where he has a bed and he can go there to get treated, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Anything else?
Well, Your Honor, he has high school education and we are willing to do a social worker service visit for HET, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the case, anything else, Ms. Kim?
Nothing else from defense, Your Honor.
All right. On the newly accused case 24 CR 004393G on 2 counts of battery, that's going to be $1,000 surety bond on each count. No contact with Michael Fleming and Joe Stagio, and to stay away from 1040 Calhoun Drive in Atlanta, Georgia. He is allowed a one-time visit to that location to retrieve his belongings, but within 30 days, he must update the court of his new mailing address once he bonds out. His next court date for this case is July 18th. On the second case, 24 CR 004419G, the bond is going to be set at $5,000, and that's a surety bond. No further contact with Dawn Harris, and no illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. His next court date is going to be July 18th. The other case that we will also reschedule on July 18th is his third open case, which is 21 CR 003713G. So if you don't make bond, Mr. Green, we will be addressing your 3 open cases on July 18th at the SAP calendar. And that's also going to be via Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Williams and Ms. Desiano, Ms. Oday, Ms. Cook, and Ms. Kim, do y'all have any other questions about the bonds or the?
No.
No, Your Honor. Are you with us tomorrow?
Yes, I'm here tomorrow. Okay, so I will see you all again.
Judge, I got a question. Can you clarify the conditions on Mr. Austin? I didn't get them all. Cameron Austin, I just got level 2 random screening.
Yeah, 4,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 2, no further violent contact with Jessica. I think it was Pancheco.
Okay,
And he must enroll in a DBIP
okay, that's what I did.
within 30 days of being released.
Okay. All right. Give
All
me a
right.
minute. Don't leave me.
I'm
I'm gonna get it
here.
together.
I'm here. I have my phone. You can call me and I'll get those bond orders out to you as soon as I receive them.
Okay, I'm gonna do them as quick as I can. I got them started. The added ones that we just did, it's gonna take me a minute. 'cause we had-
Understood. All right. Everybody else, enjoy your Friday evening and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same way. Okay?